Welcome in, everyone, to episode 154 of the Battlecast Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Peng, joined by Krusty the Coriander himself, finally fully clowned up.
I can't
and,
even.
He's got like a witch's nose.
Bruv, okay,
He's a
so
witch clown,
okay, I'll be very honest in it, yeah.
like a warlock.
So we're recording this a day later because I was like on my way back from Bologna. Yesterday I didn't get any sleep, so I was like really tired. But also, I'll be very honest, I didn't even have this stuff. Yeah. So as soon as we rescheduled, I was like, okay, let me make the order now. And okay, obviously, you know what? I'm very happy that we live in an age where I can just put something in order and it will come less than 24 hours later. Yeah. Like, amazing convenience. Yeah. But I swear, this thing was the most like budget multi-sale, wholesale thing I have ever witnessed. Yeah, it came vacuum sealed. Yeah, look at this. This is the label. Yeah,
Okay.
and I mean it's a bit blurry, but
Yeah.
yeah, some of
I
those
can't
words aren't
see it.
even
What does it
English.
say?
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
4-piece clown circus costume. Oh yeah, 4 pieces. There's like a tie and wait.
Wait, what? Throw on the
Um,
tie.
okay. Okay. Well, it's a choice out of like this tie or bow tie.
You all gotta see the YouTube version. It's too funny. That's a fat tie.
Which one?
I guess they're both pretty big. Now
Yeah,
think
I'll
about
do the other one next week.
it. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. You could pick. You could pick. Do the tie.
Yeah.
The bow tie, I feel like is like the next step up.
Okay, and then also because of this, oh yeah, because it was vacuum packed, my nose is still reflating. Yeah,
So
and
next week it'll be a full, nice little round nose.
yeah, I guess so. And it also gets in the way of my nose ring as well, which is not really ideal. Okay,
Well, I don't think any of this is ideal for you, but
yeah, that's
it's
true.
ideal for us.
But yeah, as soon as I'm done with this, Rev, it is going straight back. Yeah, there is no room for this
Well,
nonsense in my room.
to give you 1 week down,
Yeah.
2 to go. And that's according to your math. I
Thing's
thought
itchy as well,
you
man.
still got a couple left, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you know what? Yeah, you know what's annoying as well? When I did the
What?
Misty thing, this is so annoying, man. When I did the Misty thing, the wig, yeah. So it was bare itchy in it, yeah. And then someone was like, "Nah, low key, you're supposed to have these little like, uh, what is it? Is these like hair priming net sort of thing before you put the wig on, and it stops the itch." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
actually did
I've
get
seen
one of
that
those."
before.
Yeah, I got one of those, but I didn't know what it was for. And I thought it was just like
Oh, so you didn't
part
put
of the
it on.
packaging. This one didn't even have it.
Oh.
They're cheaping. They're cheaping out.
But did you have it from the Misty thing? So you have it on still?
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I couldn't be whatever.
So what you're saying is you losing the Misty bet came in handy today.
Well, no, because I didn't use it. So.
Well, wait, no, but you
could
can use it with this wig, right? You didn't use it with this wig either?
No, I didn't. No,
Wait, why? Why not?
I couldn't be bothered. I didn't
Well,
want to
then of
like
course
learn
your
how.
head's gonna be itchy. I don't know what you complain to me about.
Yeah,
You
I
know
know,
about it
but
too.
yeah, I know.
All right. Anyway, let's dive into the
Anyway.
YouTube comments for this week. Eighth Grade says, funny enough, the real first match was supposed to be me versus Signal, but people mentioned it would be funnier to have the twins face off. This was at the LA regionals.
People were saying it would be funnier to have McButthole face off. Okay.
McBooho, but yeah.
I see
McBooho
how,
on the elbow
how
is
production works.
innocent.
That's fine.
Nice to see Anicor realizing that trial for us in NA is effed. Also, I've been grinding for CP all season and only have points from 3 cups. Maybe we're just unlucky with the amount of locals we have access to in the SoCal area. Yeah, I mean, I've only done 3 cups as well too. So, even though we're in a big city, like even LA.
Do you know what the other thing as well, low key in it, is that like you're so for my days. Okay,
He's dropping his
stop me.
nose.
Drop my nose. Yeah.
We're just gonna have to super glue that on, Maybe that's a solution.
Yeah. So basically, from London, like, although London hasn't been having any locals, um, because of the size of the UK, we can actually just go out to different cities and go to the locals there. So, like, some of the cups we've been attending have been, not too far away, but they'll be like a couple hours drive. But obviously, the US, you don't have that luxury because like a couple hours drive is just nothing, you know, like you don't get anywhere sort of thing for you lot. So that's, I guess,
Well,
another thing where it's like we have multiple cities that we have access to, whereas you probably only have one, right?
yeah, I mean, like the nearest next big city close to LA, I don't even know where it is, right? So maybe like you could say like Orange County or something,
Right.
right? In
Yeah.
in that area, but like it's like about like 1 hour away, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, they're not like hosting a ton either. So
Yeah. So I think we've got a bit of an advantage in that. Um,
why haven't you all had a cup in London?
Bruv, honestly, so the thing
But
is,
you've had challenges.
like two. Yeah.
Mm,
Basically,
okay.
all the venues in London. So I haven't been here for the majority of the season, so I haven't spoken to any of them. But Dean was speaking to a lot of them, and the majority of the venues just didn't want to host it.
Uh,
So basically, my goal over the next couple months is to actually like personally visit a lot of them and chat to them. The worst part is, yeah, bro,
yeah,
one of them,
maybe
yeah.
Dean Oski doesn't have your kind of charm.
Hey,
You should
I
show
like
up
to
like
think
this
so.
and be like, "Hey, host a Pokemon Go tournament. You get a free clown show too."
Oh my days. This thing. Okay. Yeah, I would like to think that not necessarily that he doesn't have the thing, but I'm thinking like, well, I'm gonna approach it a bit more maybe transactionally and be like, look, this is what you can potentially gain from hosting us. Also, this is how much effort it's gonna be, implying that the effort will be nothing. Because I'll be like, look, I'll like organize most of the things, make as much of the workload as low as possible, where all you need to do is take our money, yeah, and then ignore us for the rest of the day. Yeah. So that's my goal. Yeah. Hopefully it works. We'll see. The annoying thing is, yeah, bro, one of the stores, yeah, I know the guy. Yeah. I've been on back in the day, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah. I used to play at his store, and I
Yeah,
went on like multiple YCS trips with him. Yeah.
yeah, and
Man's
he still
like,
won't come through.
is not even so I'm gonna go down there at some point and
So do they host like Pokemon trading card game
they do. Yeah.
events?
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
not go? That's
Yeah,
weird.
and the thing is that like I understand from a perspective of like, let's say a store owner who hasn't been given any spiel, yeah, just someone's come up to them and be like, "Yo, will you want to host go tournaments?" I can see why they would say no because they're thinking, well, that's going to be organization, that's going to be
Mhm,
organization for a game we're not familiar with, that's going to be
mhm.
extra table space. Oh my god. Anyway, you know what? If this comes off one more time, I'm just going to tape it. Um,
You should tape it
there's
now. It's coming off another time for sure.
Yeah, I'll wait. That's extra table space, and that's also some sort of network setup. Yeah. One thing I've heard is that actually VGC also have a very similar problem. So they don't have nearly as many locals as TCG do, and for very similar reasons. Where a lot of the stores they'd much rather not have to host something that requires, like extra setup than here, take a table and go.
Well, I think also part
Um,
of it is like they don't make money off of hosting like Go
No,
and
but they
T
do because look,
VGC.
they
Well, yeah, you
charge
could pay like a maybe entry fee and
they
stuff, but
charge
at
an entry
least
fee.
at least our stores like they give like some prize packs for the winners too, so it probably doesn't
Yeah,
actually
we
get
we
net
don't
them
get. I
much
mean,
money.
the prize packs that they get in these stores are like the standard,
Oh, I mean like
tournament
the
packs.
standard like participation price. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean like a box or something like
yeah.
after you win the whole
No,
thing.
your place does way more in it. Like, and
Yeah.
to be honest, I don't expect anything like that from locals.
Yeah.
Because like again, you don't want to put them off even more. Yeah, and I think the standard tournament packs probably come for free or something. I don't know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Those would
Yeah.
pack a 3 Pokemon
So
or something.
really and truly, it's not actually any downside. Obviously, we're not necessarily buying TCG items. However, there's two things. One, there's the potential of us buying TCG items because some people are that way inclined. Some people like packs. They like to buy TCG items. So you've got the possibility of getting people who will do. Plus, also
Mhm.
a lot of these places sell things like food and stuff like that. So again, you've also got the possibility of people buying that. So Personally, I don't think it's too much of a downside as long as it's put to them in a way where it feels like, you know what? All you need to do is take our money and then you can ignore us for the rest of the day and we'll sort everything out, you know?
Yeah.
Which I believe we can set it up that way. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna see what happens over the next couple months. I'm just gonna go down to a lot of the places and chat to them about it in this way and be like, look, we're gonna be consistent. We're gonna get people in the door, and it's literally gonna be no extra work for you. Like I will do everything else possible.
Well, it goes
And
even
hopefully
easier
it
too
works.
because VG you need like a Wi-Fi connection to connect to, right? Whereas some stores you don't
Exactly.
even need to use their Wi-Fi for Go. You can just use
Yeah,
data and
I'm
stuff.
going to
Yeah.
tell them that as well. I'm going to be like, look, if you don't have Wi-Fi, we'll just do it off data. Because honestly, we'd rather have a cup where we're all
Hmm.
playing on data than no cup at all,
Yeah.
or a challenge where we're all playing data than no challenge at all. So honestly, I don't think we care. And also, okay, okay, ay, Dios mío, okay.
You dropped the music.
I know. Yeah. Oh,
No, just explain
the
to our
audience
audio
listeners.
listeners
Yeah.
in case they
Okay.
wonder.
And also, I think hopefully once we start to build that relationship, then maybe down the line, like perhaps mid-season or something along those lines, we can discuss about potentially building a bit of a better infrastructure.
Mhm.
And I'm sure at that point they'll be more willing to hear that as opposed to right at the beginning.
Yeah.
So small steps. This is also I'm hoping at some point, uh, probably sometime this month, to set up a server in which the main one sec. Okay, good enough.
This bit is crazy.
In which the main it'll like have a load of people who regularly like have hosted locals over the past season, and then it will have a load of people who really want to get the local scene growing in their area, and hopefully we can help them with some experience.
You should take a selfie right now and change your Twitter profile to this
This
for
is
the next 3
so.
weeks.
What's annoying as well is that like when I did the tape folded over on itself, so this bit's like whatever, man. Whatever. Whatever, man. If it falls off again, I'll
It's
redo
like
the tape.
right
Oh my god.
there.
It's,
Why don't you do like double-sided tape on the inside
I
instead
guess
of
I
your
could try
nose?
that. Yeah.
It might be easier. Yeah, this guy's actually just putting the tape over the nose and then try to connect it to his nose bridge after. Not
Yeah,
working.
because I was thinking I didn't really have any faith in how good the double-sided tape would be because it's just sellotape.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so hopefully get that up and running and hopefully have people approach um, their card shops in a similar manner. Or one thing I also want to do is do a bit of research and find out if there actually is any inherent benefit for the card shops to host Go tournaments. Like, I don't know, maybe it puts them in a
they get
better
a
standing for
Pokestop.
certain things or something.
They get
Now, but
the
something like that might be helpful for their TCG tournaments.
well,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know if
yeah,
there is
yeah.
anything.
That's I'm just saying,
Um,
like that's the only
yeah.
benefit I'm aware of at the
So,
moment. So
hopefully there is something, and then we can use that as well, being like, look, you're getting a load of free tournaments, and as a result, this is benefiting the TCG players
mhm,
somehow. So,
yeah. So who is Josh says, "Hey Caleb and Coriander, I've figured out how to give meaning to battling the team leaders Spark, Blanche, and Candela. You make these three a sandbox function where you can run pick six formats. You pick their six and you pick your six. The game will need an AI function and they determine what they play against your six. You can pick your playstyle, difficulty like Ace Vet, Expert, Legend. It's a way to train for Pokemon Go without having to try and find someone to train with to decide on team building. Maybe pick six as a stretch because the game would just shatter and a compromise would be pick three,
yeah.
but have these trainers have intelligence in playing GBL, knowing typings, effective move counts, and double moved. It's the same on PvPoke, but he has a sandbox section to test your team against a difficulty. You obviously can't train like you're playing a human in a live environment, but with machine learning coming more and more, this would be a great step forward to get more people feeling confident in signing up, knowing that they won't just tank out of a tournament 0-2-0-2. It's fair. It's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, AI is definitely around to. I mean, people struggle to beat like an AI in chess, right? So why not Pokemon
Yeah.
Go?
Honestly, that sounds like a sick idea. However, really and truly, do I see Niantic taking AI, machine learning, and integrating it into PvP? Probably not. Can't lie. However,
Yeah,
I think the
it's
idea is
not on
sick,
their list of
and it would be
priorities.
great if that was a thing. At the very least, though, the first parts where you have a scalable difficulty, um, and then also, I think this is something that people have said as well. Like, if you change the mechanics of leaders and grunts and stuff like that into standard PvP mechanics, right? Obviously, you have to tone down the CP because that's the biggest issue. Like, if you have standard mechanics and
Hmm.
your the grunts like Darumaka is 5,000 CP, yeah,
Hmm.
you're probably not going to win. But yeah, if they put standard mechanics but tone down the CP, um, maybe that's good as well.
Yeah,
And you just set a difficulty. You know,
yeah, no,
maybe.
definitely. I think it's a great idea though, because right now the leaders aren't really used for much besides getting buddy hearts, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you use it for anything else, but yeah,
Nah. Yeah, you don't
definitely
even
good.
finish the battle as well.
You don't need to. You just go in,
Yeah,
you just
just
quit out,
log
and you get
in.
the buddy heart. Let's
Yeah.
see them to be the lead Pokemon
Lit.
here in the back. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate them making it that easy for us at
Yeah,
least.
yeah, yeah. Same, same.
T. Wastel says, I mean, lasagna was misspelled and had the word acid in it, so I don't think it was crazy for them to need to change it. I didn't even realize that. That's actually kind
Yeah,
of
see, that's what I'm saying, isn't it? Yeah, that's reaching. Yeah, that is
well.
reaching. Yeah.
You think that was an
No, no, no,
accent?
but
That's
because
extra.
he's right, yeah. But at the same time, yeah, that is reaching. I don't think I would have noticed that. Yeah, I mean, I didn't notice that.
I
You
guess
didn't
they
notice that.
noticed it. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
think they noticed that initially either until the second
yeah,
day, which is why they noticed it, right?
yeah. But then
But
I don't know, man. Reaching in it because what was that? Someone was saying earlier today. Yeah, they were like, you can have Lagger Gaming, yeah, logos on stream,
mhm.
but you can't have PvP lag as an in-game name. Do you know what I mean? In it, yeah. Obviously, they're two different things, yeah. But
Well,
context
that's the
required.
thing. They're two
Yeah.
different things. And then
They're
Lager
two different
Games
things,
also
but
like is an esports org, right? Like it's an
I
official
know, but
esports
it still
org.
says lag. Do you know what I mean? In it.
That's a little reaching too, in my
But
opinion.
that's what I'm
Like
saying, isn't it? So is lasagna with arsenal.
no, but that's different though. That's a it's the intentionality behind it, right? And like it's not too hard to figure out the intentionality behind it. I think.
Yeah.
It's
Either way,
possible
yeah.
Bish Lasagna just misspelled lasagna, but I think he seems clever enough with his wordplay to know what he's doing. Which props
Yeah.
to him because I didn't even realize that at first. But
Well, you know what? I think as long as McButthole still exists, yeah, any
that's the thing. It's
discussion
McBuho. It's
over
McBuho.
un, un,
You got
as
rid of
long
the
as Mc
T. It's
as
clean.
long as McBut wait, okay, he got
And
rid of the
get rid of the
T,
extra
yeah.
S. It's just
Hey,
lasagna.
he got rid of the T, yeah. But in the UK, we don't even see the T's anyway, so it's still McButthole,
What do you
yeah.
mean you don't see the T's anyway? I don't understand. You
Well,
all don't
it's
spell.
McButthole, right?
What do you mean you don't see the T's
Like we don't
in the
often say
UK?
T's or like pronounce T's in it.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, like
Yeah,
water.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, like water.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if
So
McBull
really and truly,
travels to EU to compete, right? Maybe at Liverpool, I'll be like, "Oh, you gotta change the name again, man. It's gonna be like you're just gonna be Mick."
yeah.
Like,
Well,
"Oh."
yeah. This is the thing. Yeah. As long as McButthole is still out there, yeah, I don't want to hear nothing about play Pokemon names. Yeah. Until McButthole gets shut down, I don't want to hear nothing.
I mean, you could that could be your stance, but that's not TPCI stance.
Well,
Anyway, T-Wasa also says, I wish the moveset update for the season was bigger, but I also don't think we really need to totally upend the entire meta for every 3 months. There's a middle ground that would be the sweet spot, in my opinion. Having regionals, I agree with that too. Before we go to the next point he made, I mean, I think like I was just hoping for a Gligar nerf. If you nerf Gligar as well as Lantern, then things change a lot, right? You just increase the entry on Dig
yeah.
or whatever.
But I don't
But
think Gligar's a bad Pokemon though. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a
no, but
good
it's the
Pokemon.
reason why certain things are relevant and why certain things aren't.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Skarmory's biggest relevance is for Gligar.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, because
True.
Gligar's so good. Like Skarmory doesn't reliably beat fighters. Like you don't reliably
Mm.
beat Annihilate nor Poliwrath. it's not like that reliable into Vigoroth. You just really have it for Cresselia and Gligar, right? And like you don't even reliably beat Whiscash or the Waters. So what the you don't even reliably beat Altaria Manibus in all
Yeah.
situations. So you literally have it for the Gligar primarily, and then a little bit of Cresselia. But if Gligar's not relevant as much, then you have a little bit less reason to run it, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. Does the meta feel that shifted for you since the
From what
update
I
happened?
haven't seen too much yet, but from like the couple practice tournaments I've seen, it doesn't look like that much. And I also imagine, again, we're right at the beginning. Obviously people are practicing for NAIC, so you've got one of two directions people can go with, right? Either trying out pretty much anything right now, or just going with whatever they feel is safe and just, waiting until after NAIC to start experimenting. But I reckon while we might see one or two new Pokemon pop up at NAIC, I reckon everything's going to be relatively similar. Maybe the
Mm.
ratios of certain things might change a bit, but I have a feeling things are going to be pretty similar.
Shadow Typhlosion?
You know what? I think it's good. I haven't used it. I've
I
seen a few
used it.
videos, but I think it's good. I think it's good.
It sims really well. Like you beat Feraligatr straight up in 2 shields.
Yeah.
I think in the evens as well, actually. But uh, it's so frail. You beat like Annihilate as well. You beat Gligar in 2 shields,
Yeah.
but
But
it's
you
just
have
like
to
you
use it
like
like Charizard, do you know what I mean? Like you have to
kind
basically treat it
yeah,
like
but the
Charizard.
problem is with Incinerate, it's so much clunkier.
Yeah,
Because
this
you
is
have to
true.
optimize with a 5-turn move, but it's not easy to optimize with the 5-turn move.
Yeah,
Sometimes you just
yeah.
have to move, you have to throw it, but you
But
have
if
to
you can,
optimize.
yeah, but if you can, I think it's very powerful. It's similar to Skeledirge, right? Skeledirge is arguably one of the
But
best
Skeledirge has a
Pokemon
little
right
bit
now,
more bulk
you know? Yeah,
than
it's true. It's got more bulk, but you still have to like to get the full potential of Skeledirge. Yeah, you do need to be very smart with how you use Incinerate.
Oh no, I don't
And
disagree with you, but it's
yeah,
harder than Skeledirge based on my
yeah,
my
yeah.
experience with
Because it's
it.
got no bulk, I guess so. Yeah, yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
still, I think like
Like
I think if you
Skeledirge, you
don't
could
know
tank
how
an
to
Airways from Gligar. You
yeah. I
can't
think if
tank
you don't know
nothing
how to
on
use Incinerate,
Typhlosion.
then you can't really be using Skeledirge because it's not going to give that much to you. And then I reckon it's the same here. Like if you're not using Incinerate effectively, then it's not going to do you too many favors in it. But
You know what
for
beats
everyone
Mandibuzz
who's
and
hmm,
Clodsire? Kind of crazy.
what Typhlosion,
Typhlosion, yeah.
yeah, that's mad.
Yeah.
That's mad.
You have to
Yeah,
run Incinerate though, but Incinerate is definitely the
yeah,
move to go.
yeah, yeah.
I was talking to someone about it, and I think it was Tiwaso actually. But essentially, Incinerate when resisted is still the same damage as Shadow Claw for
Shenanigans.
neutral,
Wow,
apparently.
Incinerate,
So
good move, man.
yeah, with the stab and everything
Yeah.
canceling out. So there's really no reason to run Shadow Claw over Incinerate unless you're like against like a Jellicent or something, right? Where you're
Mm,
taking super effective Shadow Claw damage
yeah,
and
yeah,
resistant Incinerate, but those opportunities are much smaller.
yeah. You
Shadow
know
Claw
what?
does feel
Honestly,
better, but
I can. Oh my god.
what
I'm all
happens?
over the place. Um, I
You have a
can I
Jack in
can
box that just
see.
popped open or
Well,
something on the
may
table.
as well have been. I can see Shadow Typhlosion doing well this weekend. Like,
Hmm.
do I think it's going to
I
hit
don't think
top
it
cut?
makes even like a
Possibly.
top 16.
Well,
Top 8
okay.
definitely
Top cut is
impossible.
usually, assuming it's like the big one, it's going to
Top
be top
32.
32, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think I think we might get one or two in top 32, but I think we're going to see some bubble below top 32.
I
I,
think we
I
see
think it's going to
0
be valid. I
in
think so.
top 32.
You think zero? I think it's going to
I
be
think
valid. I'm
0.
not going to lie.
I do think it looks
Yeah.
really interesting. I think if anyone makes it in top 32, they're using the Typhlosion sparingly. Like it's more just bench pressure than anything else. But
Nah, because it's not. I mean, I don't say it's not bench pressure, but it's not really bench pressure because it's like you can win against Typhlosion with most Pokemon up energy, right? Or like up shields or something like that. So it's not really pressuring much off your
that's why you
team
always have the
as
Typhlosion in the
opposed to
back, right? Or in the
yeah,
lead
but
with
as
like the
opposed
spin
to like
shields.
pressuring the way you play, you know. But I don't think it's necessarily pressuring what three you're going to bring,
Yeah,
unless you've got something like super weak to it. Um,
fair enough.
so I don't know. I think it will do well. I think it will do well.
Okay. We'll see. T West also says having regionals in major cities would definitely help with the travel costs. My only concern is if it would mean higher costs for hotels and Airbnbs, or if it would mean higher venue costs, which could potentially mean higher registration fees. Overall, though, travel seems to be a pretty significant cost, so reducing the cost of that is probably worth potential higher costs elsewhere. Um, yeah, and then he also says them announcing the move updates live on stream was awesome. Hopefully, do more of that going forward. It was also nice to get the info a bit earlier than usual. Yeah, both agreed on both of those fronts on the move updates.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think another part with having regionals in larger cities is that more people might just show up in general. Because if you
Yeah.
have a small city, like even like the flight prices are not great, but also there's limited flight options and stuff. So some people might be like, "This is not convenient," right? And there's less people that live in the smaller cities, so it's harder for like locals to show up because there's just not many locals. Also, like
Mm.
when we go to these small cities, I don't know about Europe because it seems like most of your cities are pretty big, but for our small cities, like it doesn't even seem like the local community plays Pokemon, right? Like it's like no one in that town like even knows what's going on. Like what's Pokemon or something, you know? But
Yeah. Yeah, I think honestly, even in Europe, I feel like our small regionals are still relatively large. Um, because I think most of them are in reasonable locations.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, in Europe at least. I mean, I'm not sure how big some of the cities you all go to, but they all seem like pretty big cities at least based on whatever
Reasonable,
they
reasonable.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
reasonably large.
You don't have like tiny ones like I imagine. I imagine Peoria probably isn't very big,
I
but
don't know how big Bologna is though, right, compared to
yeah.
other cities, but that,
Let's
but
compare
stuff like
Bologna to
Barcelona,
Peoria.
like Liverpool, these are all cities that people are aware of.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So population of Bologna is 400K,
okay.
and population of Peoria is 100K. So it's like 4 times bigger than Peoria,
Yeah,
people wise.
makes sense. If Smash says the leaderboards and championship points should be trainer names only, how would anyone know someone's government name and trainer name? Yeah, that's actually a little bit tougher. If it's actually their full government name and they're pretty high up on leaderboard, like they've made top cuts at tournaments, you could Google it and actually find their username because there's like the Pokemon company like posts like at least this season
Yeah.
they've been posting like top eights or whatever, like with their government name and stuff. That's how I figured out some people on the leaderboard. I think the problem with the trainer names only is that it's a TPCI website and they've had these leaderboard stuff around before Go came out, right? So like like it's hard for them to make it mandatory for people to sign up with a trainer name because for VGC and TCG there's like not really trainer names and stuff. And it's funny because I forgot where I saw this. I think it was maybe during the NAIC pre-show or something. Some people were saying it was cringe that we have like trainer names for like not like our real names, and then other people were saying in chat it was cringe that they're using their like legal name for the
I
other
think I
games.
think it's cringe that they're using the legal names, to be honest, you know. But again, I think
Well,
was
what
this
about
something
me?
we
What are you trying
discussed
to
last?
say?
It's pretty cringe, I can't lie.
I got the
You
best of both worlds. I feel like,
these men using their legal names.
yeah,
But I
it's my
think
trainer name.
it,
Too.
it makes a good point where it's like obviously our trainer names are actually attached to the account, whereas in the other games they're not. So like I guess that makes sense in it. However, prefer trainer name, can't lie. Yeah.
So you think I'm cringe? You think King IV's cringe as well? You think
IV isn't his name.
no? His last name is Iv. It's just he just
Really?
says IV. Yeah, that's actually his last
Really?
name. Yeah.
That's mad. I don't think anyone
If
has
it's
a
not
three
like
letter last name
IV,
this
like two
wild.
capitalized letters, it's
I
it's just
don't
like
know.
if or whatever. Yeah, but
So I
he just
don't
says
know.
IV. It
Okay.
just sounds
Mad.
better for branding purposes. Yeah.
Mad.
It just rings. Yeah, yeah. You thought it was his. He does use a Pokemon thing.
I don't know. I just thought it was
He'd be
like
like, if I saw Charmander, yo, my username is Caleb HP. Oh no, that's really my.
what's your middle name? Harrison.
No. I just made
Oh, okay,
something up. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. No, I was saying
It's
is
not
actually
KHP,
that's my yeah.
yeah.
It's not actually yeah. You're going too deep with that.
What is your middle name? What is your middle name?
It begins with X, so that wouldn't work. Well, Caleb
Okay.
XP though could be
XP.
yeah,
Yo.
yeah. But no, but King IV is. I'm not saying I is his middle initial. Like
Yeah, I
its
know,
last
yeah, I
name is
know.
just
I'm saying
IV. Yeah.
it's IV,
Actually, that could have worked. Actually, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
No, I remember when I first downloaded Pokemon Go. It was like
Uh,
you had to down like they have like CP or something is their power up. I was like, is
yeah,
that because of my initials or like my trainer name, or is it like
yeah.
everyone says CP? I realized it wasn't about me. Ryan Colgrove says even with the match delays and venue Wi-Fi being terrible for both Go and VGC in the beginning of the LA regional, once that got settled, the event went surprisingly well. Lots of people making the stream debut and definitely seemed to be a concerted effort to showcase some local battlers on stream, not just the big names that travel for all these. I hope everyone had fun as us locals tried to show everyone a good time with what downtown LA has to offer. Yeah, Ryan Coker actually made his stream debut as well.
Yeah.
Um, against it's flipping Coop
Mm.
on stream. Yeah, so I think yeah, it ended up being a lot of local battles on stream too, and I think part of it was the delay. So definitely some positives there. Ryan Coker also says, "Congrats to Rise for winning, but feels bad, man, when Shady and Existing Monkey have maybe best weekends of their play career and come up empty-handed, other than points that will potentially have them short of Hawaii." Yeah, I don't think either are going to
Yeah.
Worlds, which
I guess
is
they got money though. I
they
mean,
got money and card packs and
yeah,
medals, but
yeah.
yeah, I don't.
So it's not exactly like they fell short, but yeah, I get like
I don't know Existing Monkey situation either, but I know that if Shady qualified, he probably wasn't going to go to Hawaii either
yeah.
way. So, um, but so at least not too much loss on that front. RC also says this is the hope for someone people on wait I think okay, I think he just misspelled this. This is the hope for some people on their best day to be this close. So, really feel like the whole system needs some reworking. We need Swiss to incentivize more people to actually want to play, not just donate their money to go O2. Not having enough phones is not an excuse. TBC and TPCI are billion-dollar companies. If they want to make it happen, they can. We'll talk more about the Swiss versus Double Elim thing a little bit later on the episode. But it seems like RC's theory is that less people go because it's double elim and not Swiss. I don't know. I don't know
I'm
how
not gonna
often.
lie. I did actually hear from someone I met this weekend.
Mhm.
She was saying that her local community or her local PvP community was relatively small, but one of them stopped playing Go because they were like, well, I'd rather not go to an event and only be able to play 2 matches and that's it. And now plays TCG so that they can actually play all day.
Mm,
Fair enough,
interesting.
fair enough.
Something I'm curious about. I don't know if this is like the best metric. Is how many people from your locals that go to local tournaments, if you have a regional local to you as well. So like LAC example, right? Um, how many of our local players that go to all these local tournaments also show up to the regional? Because the regional is double elim, whereas locals are Swiss.
Yeah.
And at least from my understanding, at least for all the LA regional attendees, they all like all of our local players all went to the LA regional,
Mhm.
right? So it wasn't like a dissuading factor, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's tough, right? For sure. Like no one likes to go O2, and it can happen to some of the best players as well. But I think at the same time, like if you just practice enough at local tournaments and stuff, like the odds you going O2 are much less, right? I mean, just like part of it's just like prep, right? Or maybe seeking out the resources to try to prevent that and have a better experience. But I don't know. We'll talk more about the double
Yeah.
elim versus Swiss later. RC also says, and the travel award policies need to be reworked, in my opinion, as well. Would make sense to have two leaderboards, one for world qualifying points and then one for travel reward, etc. Play has a lot of potential, but with this current structure, I feel like it's not worth playing in these events anymore. Interesting. Um, I'm not really sure what he's trying to say. So if he has two leaderboards, what's
I'm not really
the
sure.
yeah,
I
like
don't know
what's the
what the difference
difference?
is.
Like it's just what's the point of having two leaderboards? I guess like because like it's not like okay. So
The
so
only thing I can
is he
think
just saying
is,
like it's easier to navigate? Like so like we know we have a leaderboard for everyone that's qualified for worlds already, and then we have another one. But the points like I feel like it's
yeah,
pretty
I
like it
I,
makes
I
sense, right? And it's
assume,
intuitive that like oh once you hit
yeah,
500 points plus whoever's close enough in that top 8 or whatever slot
yeah.
for your region for travel award qualifications is
I'm
gonna get
assuming
it.
just based on like previous discussions that maybe he's saying that you have the travel award leaderboard only counts points from maybe like just events as opposed to locals as well. But
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
He
This
didn't
is
mention
just
anything
based on
about
like I know he didn't mention
locals.
it, and it's just based on like previous discussions where like that
Yeah.
could be
I don't
potentially
understand. So
relevant.
RC saying, but with this current structure, I feel like it's not worth playing in these events anymore. So like, what's he? Is it because he's not a fan of people that have already qualified for Worlds or still traveling these tournaments to compete to get more travel award points?
I don't know.
I
I
don't
can't
know.
imagine he would have that kind of take. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe RC can clarify for us on that last point for our next episode. But that being said, that's going to be our YouTube comments of this week. We've had 2 events this past weekend.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Bologna first or PJCS?
Um. Let's do Bologna first.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, we have
Bologna.
Bologna, which hey man, the race is on. Who's getting
For
first
what?
place first? Me or Tomahawk at this point?
Yeah.
He's got 3 grand final appearances at regionals as well as me. So we're tied for most in the world.
Yeah. Who's okay? Wait. Does he
Rubish
have
Master
the?
has 3 grand finals appearances, but and all 3
Is
second
his
places, but
world
one
one?
was at Worlds, yeah.
Yeah. Is
But technically he counts, I guess, too.
That's true. Okay, so maybe Rubik's Master has the tiebreaker in that his was world's one, and then outside of that, I
Well, it's
think
not a real
Tomahawk
race, so
has
I would
the.
think like out of the 3 of us, he's definitely the more accomplished one. Like no one's going to
Yeah,
dispute
yeah,
that,
yeah.
right?
I
Like
think I think Tomahawk has a slight edge up on you because he's got a third place as
how
well.
many events has he gone to
That's true.
compared to
Let's
me?
see. Let's see.
If you consider percentage of tournaments that end up in grand finals compared to him, this is not even a competition. Ruby's Master
Let's
also
see.
very high consistency, right? He's
Yeah,
only been
that's
to one
true. That's
tournament
true.
without making grand finals.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not
he's
saying
been
making 3 grand finals
to.
appearances is a easy thing, even if you go to a lot of tournaments. That's not the case.
Yeah,
Like very impressive run by Tomahawk,
yeah.
regardless.
Tomahawk's been to quite a few events.
Yeah, you can't even count it up
Okay.
fast
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. There's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
EU travel,
yeah,
man. But that's fine then.
yeah,
Nothing
pretty
against
much.
Tomahawk there. Very impressive run. He got second place, but we have hey man, the best EU player, Colin Six,
Yeah,
does it again.
honestly,
Some
it's
people don't
actually
think he's
insane.
the best EU player, but I think he is. I mean, the resume speaks
Who's
for
some people?
itself. I don't know. We're like, I think we're at the LA event and we're just like creating like our own like tier list of like battlers from
Okay,
EU and
but I mean,
stuff.
now after Bologna has happened, you
I had
can't
him at the top of
think of
the
more than
list
nine.
before Bologna as well.
Yeah,
But I mean, I think Paulo was actually like definitely in contention as well for that slot.
yeah.
He has a
Honestly,
slight edge
I
over
kind
Paul
of
Lasher,
agree
but
with that as well. Yeah,
Dude, Paul Lasher's consistency is crazy though. Third
it's
place,
insane,
like it's nuts.
bro.
Emi Guido as well, right? Like getting fourth.
Yeah,
This is the only tournament since EUIC, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
pretty impressive stuff. So, dude, what's up with the family genes, man? Young Kaz, your brother is killing it. Does he scrim or what? He just
Nah, bro.
rolling, dude. All right, so let's put it this way. All right, so Tomahawk, he's been messing me like over
Yeah,
a week plus ago, right? About running the Shadow Bastion. I was coming up with different
yeah,
team ideas for himself. I was like, I told him don't run Polyrath, right? It's not good, right?
yeah,
And thankfully he didn't run the Polyrath because it's
yeah.
just trash in my opinion. It would have had even less play into Colin Six's team, I think, as well. But so convince him out of that. We talked about all these different things, but so he was DMing me, and I was giving him feedback and stuff. Your brother didn't send me a message or anything; he just ran it, and then I saw that he made top cut with it. I was like, "What? Like killing it too?" He beat
Yeah.
a mind joke. Like I looked away for a second. I was like,
Oh
"There's no
my
way he
days.
wins
Did you
this," and he
watch the
wins it.
Mind Joke match?
Yeah, I did. But like,
Bruv,
when I first watched it, it was because he let like Bastion to annihilate like all 3 games, right?
all three games,
And he won 2 out of the
all three
3.
games, both of them run this same exact team in the same exact order, yeah. Where a Mind Joke just
Nuts.
RPS'd him and he won two of them. I was like, Rev,
Yeah,
that's
did
ridiculous.
wild,
Um,
wild.
yeah,
He
man.
qualified for Worlds
Honestly,
too, so it's
yeah. Well, I mean, he qualified a bit beforehand, but like now he's like
Oh,
definitely
oh,
didn't.
I thought he
He
qualified
qualified
officially on
pre-points.
Bologna.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Nah, he was like he wanted to. This is why we went to a few locals because he was like, "Oh, I don't really want to leave it till Bologna because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
that's too
a bit more
risky.
pressure."
Hmm.
But yeah, man, honestly, he literally. So he was. I can't lie. He was actually asking me. He was like, "Yo, what's Caleb's team?" I was like, "I
Don't
didn't
run
even know
my
this
LA
time,"
team.
like,
He could just DM
um,
me. I don't mind.
yeah, yeah.
Look,
But then he was like, basically, he'd been playing with. So the last team that you made,
yeah,
the EUIC one. So
yeah,
he'd been playing with that, but then over the course of some locals, we made some changes. So like
yeah.
instead of Mandibuzz, we put in Altaria.
Okay.
And then last minute, he was like, he never had a Shadow Whiscash.
Hmm.
And then obviously, Shadow Quagga started popping up a bit more. He was like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna run Shadow Quagga. I was like, honestly, pretty good. So those were, I think, pretty much the only changes, if I
Hmm.
remember correctly. And yeah, man,
Killed it.
this guy, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Does he prep or what? Is he not prep
Nah,
or
not even. He doesn't.
damn?
The thing is that
Maybe
like he's
maybe you
got
should
very good.
maybe you should start stealing my teams too. Maybe that's the
Maybe that's
cloud
the
side didn't
source.
pan out. What happened with the cloud side? There was no cloud side in
Um,
top cut actually, which is kind of wild. There was a
yeah,
Buzzwole
yeah, yeah,
even.
yeah.
Kind of what
Yeah,
the
the
heck was that
Buzzwole is
doing?
wild. I can't lie.
Does the Buzzwole
I
do
really
anything?
had no idea.
I don't remember
Well, it
seeing
gets
them on
ruled
stream.
by Anilib and Gligar. So he brought it though. The guy
Y-
brought it, but I didn't see all of the matches because
Yeah,
I was obviously at the place. So like sometimes I was playing.
it's so
But
frail too.
yeah, I don't really see the advantage of Buzzwell, to be honest, but whatever.
Hey, that's the flex.
Um,
You
in
even take
fact, I feel
neutral
like
from
Buzzwell would be
Vigoroth
better.
on the
Yeah,
rock
I
side.
yeah, bit weird pick.
Interesting. There are a lot
Um,
of no counter users though. In the top four, three out of the four didn't even have a counter user. That's crazy.
yeah, but all those like were those the
Oh no, no, no. Emmy Weeder had a Vigoroth, but
yeah,
Colin and Paul Lasha didn't. But they like had
they
stole
had
each other.
the
Like he stole her
magazine team
team
in it.
and whatever, and then she
Yeah,
had another no counter team.
yeah.
So yeah. I didn't realize.
Um,
I didn't. I what I learned from the stream is I didn't realize Colin Six was such a thief. It's such a team thief. They really emphasize that he steals everyone's teams and does just well with them. So,
yeah, pretty much he's been
but
doing
that's
it all
actually pretty
season.
wild though. Back to back tournaments at EU with the one with the same exact team, and that was like
Yeah,
not a standard team.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty nuts.
It's pretty impressive.
But yeah, it was a fun tournament, and man, I'm glad I was proven right. I was saying all these EU tournaments. Every time I look at these top 8, top 16 graphics from Dracovic, I'm like, dang, this team is 5 times weak to Bassi too, or this team's 6 times weak to Bassi, right? And I'm glad Tom Hawk and your brother Young Kaz punished them, right, for their Bastion weakness. Like the
No, that's
ones that
true.
beat them too were like also weak to Bastion. They just played around it really well, but
Yeah.
they took out a
I mean,
couple people
the
just for
first
free.
the first loss my brother took was against Tomahawk, and that was pretty much a mirror match. And if you watch that game, like all three of those games were insane. Like I think
All
game
3 of
one
those
came
games, I feel
down
like
to
they
like
both could have brought a lot of
one
Bastion. They
HP.
didn't.
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
much. I think none of them brought any Bastions on.
Yeah.
But it's that same mind game. Do you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
where it's like, well, is he going to bring it, sort of thing. Especially when I don't know how many Bastion on mirror matches you've been in, but I imagine that's probably like
I've
the
been in a
ultimate mind
few,
game.
but not many. Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
because
like
I
it
ran into
shows
someone
six.
running the same exact team as me at a local,
Okay.
and we played 3 rounds because like
Uh,
one it was a cup and a challenge. So we played once in the Swiss for both tournaments, and then played again in the Top Cup for another. So yeah, there was a lot
how
of
do you feel like a Bastion on mirror match is like it
oh
shows six?
dude. I'm the Bassi king,
I
man.
mean, yeah, yeah.
I
Okay,
was
fair enough.
6-0. I had no problem, right?
Fair enough.
But but it was also my team, so I know it. But
Yeah.
um, it's not very riveting by any means, but there are ways. Like I think so. Here's the thing, right? If you run Bassi on your team, you're likely alignment like heavy reliant in that matchup. And if you have 2 people running Bassi, you're definitely alignment reliant, like alignment heavy on both ends.
Yeah.
So like a big part of it is, I mean, if you're starting out in the lead, that's a whole different situation. But there's one game where like they say swapped it into my Bassi lead. I was like, well, I just
Uh,
need to throw Stone Edge first, and then or Flamethrower first, and I just maintain advantage, like alignment advantage
Right.
win,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just some of those. I don't know. I mean, it's not like the deepest level strategy, but there is some strategy behind it.
Still exists. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
But
their matches were insane. Like all three of
yeah,
them really came
hmm
down to the wire. And
oh
then
my gosh, and
he
then
lost
Tomahawk,
in the
he
losers
was
against.
oh yeah, and Miwito,
Yeah.
right? Oh no, Paul lost
No,
actually.
Paula. Yeah.
Yeah, it was still won at
Which
2-1, right? It was a
yeah, but she so her Tapu Fini was
mhm,
pretty unchecked.
yeah,
And I mean, the thing is that like afterwards, obviously, there's certain like strategies you can think up, like, oh, do you know what? This actually might have been a shout. But obviously,
mhm,
if you're having to think about all of that on the spot,
yeah,
and come up with it in between matches, I
mhm.
imagine it's quite difficult. Um, but yeah, Tomahawk all the way. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like he had a bit of a
He could have won. He had a couple win
yeah.
cons.
I
Yo,
think
if
he
he
could have
shields
won.
that
Yeah,
Moonblast on game 3 of the grand finals,
yeah,
first set, he just
yeah,
wins. But it's
yeah,
tough, right? You don't know. But
yeah.
I
Exactly. Yeah,
guess
it's the same thing.
but I guess if you think about it at the same time, if he thought it through, like if you have switch advantage with the full health Altaria and Bastion, what can you really lose to?
Yeah,
With only one
it's
Pokemon
true.
remaining on the opposing side, right? So
Yeah,
I think but it's tough though. In those I mean that's after playing multiple games as well. He
yeah,
looked like
exactly.
he just had Colin just destroyed in that first winners finals. I was like, Colin's like, man,
Yeah,
I don't know where are you going with this, right? Like the mind games are real. And then he lost like 5 straight or something, which
yeah,
is which is a little tough. But
very, very
yeah, I
difficult.
think he was he he I know what it feels like to be in his spot because it's like, man, you're this close, right? Like every time you go to a tournament, you're like, man, top 2 at a tournament, I'll take it any day, right? But when you're actually sitting there for the third time and you fumble it at the finish line, it's a tough
Yeah.
feeling. But hey, the race is on now, so I'm
Yeah. In
I need to
addition, I
start going to
think
more tournaments. Is what I realized after this
he's
convo.
wanted to kind of like put competing to bed a little bit by
As he
just
started
getting a
casting.
first place and then
Oh, I
focusing
see.
more on casting next season. And so obviously he's still probably going to focus more on casting next season, but it makes it way more difficult where there's like, if there's like a big tournament going on, you're probably like, I kind of want to compete,
Yeah, the hunger's still
so
there.
yeah. Yeah, man.
I like it.
Great tournament in general. Okay, also notable mention to the flipping Shadow Hippowdon that
Oh yeah,
Top
what
cut
was
as
up with
well.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah, was
bruv.
that used much?
Oh, okay, didn't technically top cut. It was like in the just underneath top cut. He bought it one time, and he got
Really?
it onto a lantern, which I feel
Oh,
like is
I
the
did. I remember
only.
seeing that. Yeah, I remember seeing it on stream. I
Yeah,
was like, "What the heck is this?"
yeah, man. I feel like that's the only target for Shadow
Sand
Powder, bro.
attack too.
Like I had someone like
That
suggest
person had
it.
a
Yeah, like
Whimsicott
I
as
was.
well.
Yeah, I was chatting to one player who was playing in PJCS. It was like earlier in the week, and he showed me a Shadow Hippowdon team. Yeah, and I was like, "Huh, that's interesting," because obviously it got a new move, and like you know,
The
you're
pacing's
obviously
kind of
bringing this up
fast.
for a reason.
Yeah,
And I used it in GBL. I was like, "Bev, this is not the play." He was like,
yeah.
"Yeah, I know."
It'd be
But
worse if there's more
Sir
water gun lantern as
Goggers,
well.
yeah, even worse. I think it has just no good targets is the downside because
Mm,
everything seems like it can hit it for neutral,
Bastiodon.
and that's the only target.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
That's the
luckily there was
only
actually 2
target.
this time around, so
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. It does
Yeah,
seem
which is a bit
pretty
of a
hard to
downside,
use.
but
I
funny
feel
though,
like at that
funny.
point, just run like a Clodsire or something, because at
Exactly,
least
this
you
is
have
the
the
thing in it.
poison
Yeah,
resist, like resisting fighting
yeah,
damage and stuff. And
yeah,
Stone Edge is just much better than Rock Weather Ball, but
yeah. Yeah, see, this is the thing. Usually, yeah, I kind of support Pokemon like this, where they're a bit frail, but they have like a load of hard hitting moves, so it feels kind of like you can take advantage of them in good
yeah.
situation. The only issue is that like I was like, okay, well, the situation you want to take advantage of is to be able to like sand attack down something and have loads of energy, but actually, you just don't really get that opportunity that much in this meta because there's not really anything that's taking like super effective from ground enough that you can farm it down,
Mhm.
so it just feels like you never really get that opportunity, and then so you're going for like neutral matchups, and in neutral matchups you're not really. you know.
Yeah.
So
That's some spice. That is some spice
yeah,
for sure, though.
yeah.
Out.
For
So
sure.
after this event, is all the travel award for EU locked in place, or is there like
Basically, there's still a few
I know there's a few people going
players
to
going
NAIC.
NAIC. Yeah, and
Well,
like I think a
primarily
few of
out of the
them.
ones that could, isn't it
I
just
think it's like
inadequates?
inadequates.
No, that could
There
actually
might
still
be
win a
one
travel
other
award.
person. Yeah, there might be one other person, but I can't really remember. But
Okay.
I think inadequates would be the main person, to be honest.
Yeah. He could actually steal a
So
travel award for someone if he does well enough. I
if he
don't
does
see.
really well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
So there'd still be that. So that will be quite interesting to see. Obviously, it's a tall ask. I think, like, I'm not keeping up with the numbers because I don't really have to. But like, some people were talking about saying that he needs to get something like 300 points, meaning coming like top four or something like that. So
Mm.
I think it's gonna be difficult. But I mean, it's also inadequate. You know, what I mean, it's not like he's a player who couldn't necessarily get that placement. But it definitely will be a big ask, you know. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I was also gonna ask you too. Who's this Fred bug catcher, dude? Why is
bruv,
there so
I
many
don't know.
people in Europe that catch bugs? Like, what human
Oh
catch a
right,
bug?
yeah,
We
I don't
got
know.
Fred.
It's,
They're not related, right? Or and no
I don't
relation to
know.
each other.
Maybe cousins. Nah, no,
This
no
person's
relation actually.
Italian, so I don't think so.
Yeah,
But
but no, do you know what? Actually, it's a good thing you mentioned Fred back bug catcher because one thing. So, I think we've often had the discussion about EU tournaments versus NA tournaments and how like it feels like the standard of play is a lot like or the standard of player is a lot like higher in EU and all that sort of stuff. But one thing that was interesting about this is that okay, I will know every EU player, yeah. I know who they are, yeah. I
I
did
don't know if
not
I
know
have. Yeah.
Fred Bugcatcher, Sir Kohez, Benny Kisaki, and Borja MN, yeah.
Are they like
And
first timers?
I don't think I think a couple of them have
I
like
think
entered
Fred
one other
Bugcatcher
thing.
was a first timer, right?
I think
Yeah.
maybe,
First tournament,
yeah.
first official tournament for Fred Bugcatcher. Made GBL
And
leaderboards twice, and that's it.
yeah.
Kind of nuts.
So you know what? Haven't heard of any of these people. And in addition, like when watching them, it didn't feel like okay, you probably got a lucky run. Because I mean, the thing is they beat a lot of good people, but also like their gameplay was pretty solid, you know.
Yeah.
So I was very happy with the fact that like it can seem like the EU top cut is pretty much the same players a lot of the time. Maybe like the same 30 players or something like
Hmm.
that. If you take just below top cut, you get a lot of the same players, but seeing a load of new names come through is pretty exciting because the last tournament we had,
Hmm.
um, Stockholm, we had Uden, and
Hmm.
I actually met Uden on the weekend. I spoke to him. This guy has been playing since December.
Hmm. Okay.
Insane. Been playing
Yeah.
since December and gets a position like that. Um, Very
Like
impressive,
fresh account, you mean playing since December?
Um, I don't know if fresh account, but more like playing PvP seriously, sort of thing, since December.
Wait, what place
Um,
did they get?
Fifth place at Stockholm.
Oh, fifth place is Stockholm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think he did amazing here.
Yeah.
But obviously, just referring to that particular tournament.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's nice to see things like that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, that wraps it up for our EU final tournament,
Yeah,
and we only had one more tournament before NAIC, and that was PJCS. We had this.
PJCS. Okay,
Uh,
so
wait, what's it stand
PJCS
for
now,
again?
Pokemon Japan Championships,
Yes, that's right.
and so there was about 160-ish players, a bit more. As we've discussed before, all of those players had to take part in these best of one tournaments in Pokemon centers over the last 2 months.
Do they have to go
Um,
3-0 essentially? Because they're in groups of 8, right? Is that how it
they're
works?
in groups of 16, I think.
Is it groups of
Um,
16?
yeah.
Okay.
So
So they had
I
to
don't know how much
win.
that equates to, but
They had to win 4 rounds, I think, of Swiss, right?
yeah. Or unless they go into it's double elimination though.
It's
even though
double
it's best of
elim,
one.
but best of
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's super weird. Okay.
yeah. But then the grand finals is no black bracket reset, so it's really really weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
an
it's
interesting
just
element.
so weird.
I'm just confused. If it's best of one, what's the point of even doing double elim at that
Oh
point if you're
no,
trying to save
yeah, I don't know.
time?
Innit? The grand finals is best of three though, but no bracket reset. It's weird, man.
Oh
It's
wow,
honestly
this is the
it's
first time
really
I'm
weird.
hearing that. So it's best
Yeah,
of one, except for grand finals. But there's no
yeah.
bracket reset, and you don't get any benefit going into grand finals if you're on the winner side, right?
No, just you played less matches to get there.
Mm. I mean, it's
Yeah,
still something, but yeah.
yeah.
Okay, interesting. And
So
they have multiple attempts to do it. They just have to win a lottery to get
yeah,
a chance to.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
So
most seem
you got
like
a
they
bit of an
have a.
advantage if you're based in Osaka and Tokyo because the second month, the
Yeah,
first month is usually relatively regional. Like
yeah.
they host them in loads of different regions,
Hmm.
and then the second month is pretty much all in Osaka and Tokyo.
I'm sure they're like
Um,
willing to make the travel though if they're really trying to
yeah, yeah, yeah,
qualify.
and
Yeah.
it's also nice that like I think it happens every day, weirdly enough, in the second month,
Oh.
and not just on the weekends.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's also
So there's
kind of
quite a few
nice that
opportunities.
yeah, so it means that if you go there, yeah, even for a couple days, like there's possibility that you can,
Hmm.
get into one of these tournaments and play.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, so 160 players roughly, and there a lot of them were doing GoFest Sendai a couple days before, and then
Hmm.
they actually put all the GoFest spawns and stuff in the event space,
Shout out
which
Niantic
was a
for that
nice,
one.
yeah, yeah, right, nice little accessibility thing. And yeah, man. I mean, okay, so one thing I would say, and it's a very good point, that they really need to put trainer names on the stream and not government names because, bruv, even some
It was
Japanese
so hard to
people
figure
don't
out
know
who
who's
it.
playing.
Yeah,
It's impossible.
because a lot of Japanese people are pretty private too. So even on Twitter, you don't know what
Yeah,
their faces look
yeah.
like. They have like
Do you know what the
selfies
worst
with
part
it.
is as well? Yeah. Do you know what the worst part is as well?
What?
Okay, so a bracket exists, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not like a bracket that's like something you can follow easily because it's Swiss, so it's like
Uh huh.
it's usually pointless posting that anyway. Last year I had access to it and I downloaded it because I was like, you know what, we can use this for like, potentially importing data and
Hmm.
stuff like that. Now this year it wasn't actually accessible if you're outside of Japan, right? Possibly
Hmm.
even if you're outside of like maybe the venue's Wi-Fi or something like that. I can't
Right.
say for sure, but it wasn't accessible for certain people, right? And they said the reason for this was to keep things more private. My guy, you're putting everyone's government names on the flipping stream. Yeah, what are you talking about more private?
Yeah.
It's so dumb,
They
man.
have
I
like
don't
full face
understand.
shot and everything too.
Yeah, bro.
I remember
So
because I was like worried. Like DFH was going to go on stream, and
yeah.
I was like, I'll be honest, guys. I'm telling my teammates, I don't know what he looks like. Like I met him in Japan last year, but he had a picture of him wearing a mask,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
or like not a picture. He was wearing a mask, right? So
yeah.
when we took a picture, he had a mask on, and I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, I don't know what DF. I was telling my teammates this, and Heather's like, oh, well, I have a picture of him. I was like, but he's kind of private, so I don't know if I should post it in our group Discord. I
Yeah.
was like, just privately DM it to me. Bro, she DMs me a picture of him wearing a mask. I was like, I don't like this is not helping me at all. Like, I already know what he looks like with a mask. She's like, I didn't say he didn't have a mask on. I was like, what?
But
I
that was
figured you
useless.
figure out that I need a picture of him without the mask on. Like having a picture of him with the mask on looks exactly like what I remember it, but like that doesn't say much, right?
Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the mask could cover a lot. I didn't realize Godan Hada had a whole mustache until I saw him at that bar after Worlds 2022.
Didn't even realize that either.
Oh, he looked real different. Yeah, with the
Yeah.
mustache. He looked like
Mad.
30 years older. He looked like Godan Hada's older uncle or something.
Oh my days.
Anyway,
So
so
yeah, they
but
really
he didn't make it on
hopefully need
stream.
to
Yeah.
change that for next year, man. Because the thing is, even from a viewer's perspective, like you want people to engage, and it's way more difficult to engage if you don't know
Yeah.
who's playing.
Yeah.
Um,
It's also going to parallel much better to Worlds, right? On Worlds, it's not going to be their
yeah,
Japanese name in Japanese
exactly. Yeah. So
characters
here's the other
either.
thing as well, right? Um, Players that are not on stream use their own phone. I mean, obviously, it's Swiss. You can't have that, whatever in it. The Mexican tournament does the same,
Yeah.
and like the LATAM special events do the same. There's precedent, cool. However, it's also closed team sheets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Yeah, which is interesting.
interesting, I'd say. to say the least, really, isn't
If that was me at a
it?
Switch tournament, I hope I'm playing against some Android users. I'm getting
Yeah, for
some
real.
free turns
That's
on
really
this
what you
one.
want to do. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of potential improvements that can be made for next year. Obviously, the phone thing is not really,
The phone
unless
thing's
TPC
tough.
want to
I was
shell
talking to
out
some
money.
friends about this
Yeah,
because if TPC, who are the organizer of PJCS,
yeah,
if they order a bunch of iPhones, especially for
yeah,
a Swiss format, they need to order a lot, right?
hmm,
But they host this event once a year. So by
yeah.
next
That's true.
year, it's a 1-year-old iPhone, and 2 years later, it's outdated, and there's like two better versions, and this one's like the old
Yeah,
one.
that's true.
So it's a lot of money invested just for a yearly event,
Hmm.
and who knows how many people are going to be in Swiss next year, right? Maybe they increase the size, maybe not.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like I can see why they didn't, right? Because it's like, oh, they got money. Why don't they just buy all these phones? It's like it's just not well spent money, right?
that's true. That's
And
true. Yeah,
also like yeah, even if the Pokemon company has money, the allocated budget for the championship series circuit is limited. It's not like they could just
yeah.
pull from unlimited. Like they have budgets
Pretty
they
much
have to
nothing.
follow.
Yeah,
But okay,
but
so
at
I
the
have a
very
question here.
least,
I don't know if you know this. When I was watching the players play, why were they always taking off their headsets after every single game? Or
um,
they It was weird. It was like after they finished a game, there was like
yeah,
so much downtime in between the games, and I was so confused. They didn't have replay or anything either. So they're just like play a game, they'll take off the headset, they're talking to like a ref or something, and they put it back on like 5 minutes later and then play their next game. And then we just do this for like,
yeah. I don't know.
30, 40 minutes
The
straight
only
per
thing I
round. I
can
was super
imagine is
confused.
dispute.
But I don't think either player were disputing anything. Like gameplay looked fine too, as well.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of, but I have no idea. Yeah.
I thought it was like maybe a team check. But I was like, can't you just do that after the series? But also,
For
like,
real.
I was like, okay, maybe after the first game, but they were doing it after the second game too, I
Yeah.
think. But it's weird.
Yeah. The only thing I can think would potentially be disputes in it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
That,
like when I was looking at some of them, I was like, oh, this could potentially be a dispute.
hmm
But some of them, like you said, and it just didn't seem
Yeah.
like there was anything wrong.
They had some pretty wild teams though. I saw this one guy with it was a Bastion, a Shadow Venusaur, a Trevenant, and a Tapu. It was like some wild. It was really wild. It was super weak to something. I forgot what it was, but
Yeah.
it's super weak to
So
something.
do you know what? This is so interesting. So okay, like again, we've established that it's closed team sheet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much closed team sheet affects the meta, yeah, if at all. However, you've also got, if you look at these top 16 teams, right, you've got, and just generally a lot of the teams that you saw,
It could
there's
make a difference if
wild
someone's
variation.
running like Water Gun Lantern versus Spark, but because there's still a decent amount of
Yeah, but I
quality.
know, but I mean for team building. But like, I guess you're right. There's not a lot of Pokemon here which could have multiple move sets. I guess there's a few,
Annihilate
but
as
they're not too
well.
impactful.
Like if
Yeah.
someone safe off Annihilate,
Uh,
if they throw a Night Slash on Ice Punch Energy and you shield, like that's just kind of
yeah.
and then Skarmory Elite, like you just kind of wasted
Close
shield for
combat
no
as well.
reason,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, close combat.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Wasn't
Because
someone running a
again,
close combat Shadow Ball Annihilate in this tournament? Was I tripping or was that actually happened?
no, that was a Mexican tournament.
Oh, that was a Mexican tournament. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. But possibly this tournament, but I didn't manage to watch all the matches, so I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
yeah. I
Um,
watched some and I kind of fell asleep, but
yeah, I guess the timing was a bit late.
yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know how much like the open team sheet affects things, but if you look, yeah, it's really interesting because actually the team builds compared to all the other APAC tournaments we've seen has been, I'd say, wildly different, right? And I potentially want to attribute this to a few things. So I think with a lot of the other APAC tournaments, I feel like the other APAC regions, they feel a bit closer to uh, the TPCI general meta.
Do they?
And with they in terms of like they get their influence
Okay.
from the regionals and stuff that happens, right? Um, However, also, I mean, the only one that I can say was a notable trend in terms of the APAC tournaments was South Korea, where South Korea, nearly everyone was running Shadow A slash. Yeah. So that's like a really
Mm.
interesting thingy in terms of South Korea. Um, However, with Japan, one of my theories, and I can't say if this is true, but one of my theories is that because of how large the Japanese player base is, and also the fact that like the Japanese PvP community is kind of like broken up into loads of different parts.
Hmm.
I feel like they all get their influences from different places. You've got some people who only GBL, right? You've got some people who watch regionals. You've got some people who actually engage in like inadequates practice tournaments and stuff like that. So you've got varying degrees of engagement with the TPCI circuit. And I feel like this may be
Wouldn't that
one
be like
reason
most
for
of
the
you in other
diversity.
regions too?
But I don't think it's as split in the other regions because I think like okay, India,
There
obviously
might
we
be
know
less
India's
like
like a lot
only
closer.
GBLers, that's for sure, in
Possibly,
TPCI
yeah, yeah.
regions.
I
But are
mean,
there that many
well,
only
again,
GBLers that don't really look at any other tournament stuff in Japan?
I don't know. You know, I don't. I mean,
Like I feel like
this
at
is
this
just
point,
my
s-
assumption.
I, yeah, so I get what you're saying, but
Yeah.
I heard from my teammate DFH
Mhm.
that, including him, but actually a lot of other Japanese players were tuning into the LA regional as well to see what the
Right.
meta was.
Yeah.
Which is
So, I
why
mean,
there's
the
like an
other thing is
uptick in Azumarill and
potentially,
Umbreon in this
yeah,
tournament as well, right? A
that does make
decent amount of
sense. Yeah.
Azumarill, but and I think DFH actually ran the same exact team Rise ran, except
Right.
with Last Resort Umbreon instead of the Triple
Yeah.
Dark moveset. So I don't know. I feel like at least these days they're a lot more connected to the
Mm.
rest of the like
I mean, the other
more
thing I'd say is
tournaments.
potentially if certain players, because again, this is also 160 players, right?
Dude, there's so
And the
many
players,
double electrics.
you know,
Holy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And this is,
Were they running water gun? Like the ones with like charge bug and lantern? Were they running
I
water gun or were
believe there
they
was,
running
okay, I don't
spark
actually
too?
remember. But I
Yeah.
know that there was one person who ran a double electric in Bologna and
Yeah.
was running Wargun. He topped.
That would make sense. I mean, that's
Was
what
running
Hard
Wargun.
Jeff ran
Yeah,
at LAIC.
yeah,
But it's like
yeah.
a couple like yeah, it's like kind of overkill, I feel
Yeah.
like.
So the only other thing I can think is potentially like being influenced by the qualifying stage, where maybe certain strategies are a bit more
Yeah,
beneficial than others. But
those are
honestly, the
just
variety here is wild because,
it's pretty
um,
good. I feel like a lot of the
yeah,
variety these days though in tournaments is pretty nice. Like Bologna was even more diverse than this, I think.
yeah, it's true.
Like,
I guess it's just because it feels like we already like we can see the meta adjust in Europe because obviously there's
yeah.
events that we can watch, whereas here this is the only snapshot we have, right? So,
Right.
but yeah, very interesting. In terms of players I did a little write up beforehand, and
How many of these players in top 16 that qualify Worlds have gone to Worlds previously outside of Crescent Angels?
I
Because I don't
think
recognize a lot of
it's
these names.
okay. So
K-Bon, maybe I remember.
from the
Yeah.
bottom, Mike Worker, he qualified last year.
Did he go last
Um,
year?
yeah, yeah, because it was in Japan.
Oh yeah, I just don't remember
Then
seeing the name. Yeah.
Makurare Telku
Uh huh.
also qualified last year.
18
Um,
18 letters in the name.
yeah, and then the only other person is Bome Totoro, who also qualified last year. Crescent
Okay,
Angels is the only Japanese player to qualify 3 times in a row,
that's wild.
um,
Yo,
which is
congrats to
insane.
Rice as well too. After Bologna this weekend, he's the only person that's won a regional every year
Yeah, yeah,
since
yeah, yeah,
BPCI
yeah.
or since the
Ever,
Championship Series circuit,
yeah.
and that's it.
And it's not possible for anyone else to do it.
Not possible
So
for anyone
really, him
else.
and Crescent Angels, I guess, are no, because
Yeah, but the
Crescent
Crescent
Angels didn't
Angels
win.
thing,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
his
that's
qualification is
only
a little
qualifier.
different,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean, but still,
yeah.
that's still unprecedented in Japan. So, I mean, he's the only
Yeah,
one person in the world to do that,
yeah.
to
So
qualify
Rai
from.
is only person who can keep it up. So that'll be interesting.
Oh,
Interesting
pressure's
to
on
see.
Rice, but I believe in it.
Yeah, but a lot of good players who qualified. So a few that I want to pick out. There's Assist Mirwurst, who's been doing a lot of show six, but also used to be like a page one leaderboarder, like frequently.
Yeah, that looks like a
Um,
European player.
yeah, it's a German phrase, I guess, in it, but
Yeah.
yeah, they're a Japanese player.
Okay.
I think everyone was just like, I thought you were German. Chianti, who's also a frequent page one leaderboarder as well, used to compete a lot in what's that thing Speed used to do?
GBLA.
GBLA. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Fasol, similar
I thought
situation.
that was like an
K-Bon.
Italian Chianti.
Yeah, no, I don't actually know what it means. It could
I
also
don't
be
know either.
Chianti as well. I don't
I don't know either.
know. But yeah, Fasol, K-Bon, Vix, Rosie, Snapper, Kip, and K-San, all similar situations. Kip, he's that guy who So you met him in Worlds last year. It was when we were in the queue for the Pokemon Center, and I
Yeah.
dragged this one guy into your little group of
Like,
three, and I was like,
yeah.
"Hey, this is the best Ultra League player in Japan, and this is the best Ultra League player outside of
Yeah.
Japan." I was like, yeah. So second place,
Nice. Nice.
really keeping the pattern going with the Ultra League players.
So Kip didn't even
Um,
qualify last year, right? They
no,
just
no,
they
no,
just
no.
went to spectate.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
And yeah, Kazan winning the whole thing.
It was all single elim in Top Cut, right?
Yeah, yeah. Single
So
elim in this
Swiss
top
is
cut.
just like a pretty much like a local
Yeah.
for TBCI
So,
regions.
I mean, speaking of the Swiss here, I think this brings us nicely into our T topic. We can do events afterwards, right?
Yeah,
Um,
let's do that. So we'll talk about
okay,
the T
so
topic
the
right
Swiss
now.
here, like I said, there was 160 players. Yeah. However, there was only 6 rounds of Swiss, right?
Yeah.
17th place, so just missing out on qualification was Pokimichi.
Who also went 5-1
Also
in
went
the
five
Swiss.
one, like pretty much everyone on this sheet. So obviously,
Yeah, only two
didn't.
people went. Wait, how are there two people that went 6-0 in a Swiss round? Wouldn't they have faced off against each other, or did they have two
Well,
Swiss
this is the thing,
groups?
because there was only 6 Swiss rounds in a 160 player thingy. They didn't do enough Swiss rounds to have
To
like
actually have someone
the
undefeated. Yeah,
winners
'cause it
face off
should have been
around each
7 rounds,
other.
I guess, but it
Yeah,
was yeah.
I think 7 or 8. I can't remember how much where it
Oh
should
yeah,
have
no,
been.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
You're right because they have 3 people that are actually 6-0. It should have been 8 rounds, I guess.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because over yeah, right,
um,
because over 128 is when you have 8 rounds. Because I remember the old
yeah,
Sylph days, you could only max at 128 because anything further than that would force it to a round 8, and they didn't want over 8 round tournaments for
fair
online.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, should have been 8 rounds, and obviously, I guess they used some sort of tiebreakers, but I think the thing here um, is there a better way? Is the question. Is there a better
For
way?
Swiss, right? Yeah, because I know some people
Yeah.
like a lot of people know Pokemichi too, and he qualified last year, so a
He
lot of people
qualified.
were
In fact, he qualified the first year as well,
oh he
but he
did
just
okay.
wasn't able to make it over to
I see,
London.
I see.
So qualified twice in a row, and
Yeah,
then missed out on third time
fine.
by
Yeah,
probably resistance,
just
or whatever
just because
metric they
Swiss
used.
tiebreakers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate. And I remember some people were talking about this in some discords, and some people were like, "Yeah, they should have done like a play-in or something where he had to face off against the one person that finished right above him in Swiss, right, to determine that." And I'm just like, it just feels like I think this is the one of the downsides of Swiss, right? Is that it's not as conclusive in who makes top cut, who makes a qualification. Like for Pokemichi, it wasn't just a top cut appearance; it was if you qualify for Worlds or not. And
Yeah.
just because one of his previous opponents in Swiss didn't do as well as maybe someone else's opponents did that made top cut, he missed out, right? No fault to his own. The only thing he could control is the one loss he had, but I mean, everyone loses, right? So that's not even
Mhm.
like, that's not even that crazy. But like, and some people are saying, "Oh, they should have done a play-in or some other tiebreaker." And I was just saying, look, if you're going to use Swiss, you should use Swiss in all its aspects, right? Like, you should follow the Swiss tiebreakers as well because that's part of Swiss. You can't just be like,
That's true.
"I'm gonna choose Swiss this," and then do like a whole separate rule for that,
Mhm.
right? Because I don't like it. Like, if it was someone else that doesn't have much of a platform or as much notoriety as Pokemichi, no one would be complaining about this, right? Like they
Yeah,
want to
true.
know, like if this person
Yeah.
tweeted out, people wouldn't even know about it. But because someone like Pokemichi and a lot of people like him and and is rooting for him, like man, that seems unfair. But at the end of the day, like it's as fair as it gets for a Swiss thing. And a lot of players too were just straight out of contention. I think what Ishikawa went 0-2, right, to start off. I
Yeah,
think like maybe
that's
Luminous
pretty much
did and
done.
Chiodo or something, or
Yeah.
maybe both of them. But there were a couple notable players, especially from last season, that just went 0-2 off the bat, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm out. I'm out of contention." And
Mhm.
like, sure, they can play 4 more rounds if they want to, but it just doesn't change anything. I think.
Doesn't
Like, I
gain them
personally,
anything.
I think double Elam before we had seeding was like a little iffy, right? Because you could have like really tough opponents, right, round 1 and 2 and whatever, even and just out of your control. but with seeding, I feel like Double Elam covers a lot of the bases. Like, I don't know. I get people want to play more, but like at every like regional, at least NA and EU, we have a challenge on the Friday and a cup on a Saturday. Like if you don't do well, you have plenty of opportunities to play, right? Those are all Swiss, right? And you got top cut. You might be playing more
Mm,
in the challenge and cup than you are in the whole tournament, even if you didn't get eliminated right off the bat, right? I think there's plenty of opportunities to play, but I just don't know if, for me personally, based on the size of Pokemon Go right now that we have, it doesn't make any sense to go double Swiss, in my opinion. Like if you really want to play, there's a lot of opportunities to play over the weekend, and
mhm.
that's not just my take, um, but double elim is like very straightforward in how things work, right? Yes, some people might not be seeded perfectly correctly. Like existing monkey's definitely better than his seeding, but that'll happen from time to time. And
Yeah.
draw that, then I mean, honestly, if you draw that matchup, then it's not the end of the world because that means you're seeded pretty high too, so you're pretty decent, right? The
Mhm.
hardest thing about seeded double elim is if you're not seeded very high and you have to face off against like a good player right off the bat. But like if you're planning on winning the whole tournament anyway, you got to face him one way or another, right?
It's
Like
true. Yeah.
last time Kasha had to face every top seed in EU
Yeah.
in his Liverpool run because he was just not seeded at all. He was seeded like at the bottom, even though he shouldn't have been. But they did seed him before he registered, so that's not the organizer's fault. But you know, um, I don't know. What's
I
your take?
mean, okay, so for this one in particular, and potentially like other tournaments as well, right? So for this one, obviously there's a thing about maybe if they played the full amount of rounds, then there'd be less people within that bubbling spot, right? So I don't have the exact number, but I could potentially find out next week how many people were in that sort of bubbling spot. But I'm wondering if potentially, the other games were a 2-day affair, right? I'm wondering if there's potentially space where it's like, okay, you know what, day one Swiss, yeah, everyone who's 5-1, yeah, will advance to day two, and then from day two, then you do something like a
Yeah, but the
double
problem is
elimination
like
on day
if
two.
they did that and there's the only other 5-1 person is Pokemichi, they have a top 17. Then someone has a bot. Like they just like how do they
Yeah,
figure out
yeah,
the
but then
logistics?
obviously whoever in that case it's like you're using the Swiss tiebreakers, yeah, but you're not using them to kick them out, but rather you're using them to give them a bit of a disadvantage in the next round where maybe they have to play an extra match or like maybe whoever got the
But
best
but
record gets a
but if
bye.
they play an extra match, someone else has to play an extra match too, right?
Yeah,
Why
who's
would
also
why does
really
someone
low on the tiebreaker.
Yeah, but why so I guess my question is why does that the other person also has to go through trouble even though they made the qualification in original like top
No, no, because
16?
now you'll be like you're taking 5-1,
Okay.
everyone who's 5-1, yeah.
Everyone
So
who's had one.
literally, yeah. So you could have 20 people. You
Okay,
could have
okay, so
25
so
people.
but the thing is, all right, so if it's let's actually just count it for this example, right? What, there's 3 6-0s
Yeah,
in top 16, so that means there's 13 5-1s, right? So there's
yeah.
13 5-1s here, and there's 14 in total if you count Pokemichi. If
Yeah,
you so you're trying to make
but
it more
there's
fair for
potentially
everyone
more.
that's no, but let's not say potentially.
Okay,
Let's
okay,
just use
okay.
it because we have the example right here. We don't have to
Right,
like
right.
hypothesize,
Okay.
right? This is just like we don't have to create a hypothetical. We could just run this. So that means that there's 14 total 5-1s. Top 16 goes to Worlds for PJCS.
Yeah.
So literally all the 5-1s, all the out of 14 people, they're all gonna play. I don't know how many extra multiple rounds just to eliminate one person.
Okay, so then
That's a
instead you
lot of
make
work.
okay, but if it's that close, yeah, where it's
Yeah,
like there's 14 5-1s and there's 13 places, yeah, then
yeah.
instead you do 4-2s and 5-1s for day two.
No,
Do you know what I
but
mean?
they just don't. But they don't have. There is no day two. This is a 1 day event, right? They don't have
Yeah,
the
no,
time
but I'm
and
saying you make
resources,
you
right?
make 2 days, isn't it?
I mean, that's like
Because like the other games are
a
2 days
whole
as well, right?
different. That's a
So
way different logistical issue, though. Like that's like
yeah,
doubling their budget and their like production costs and everything. Like that's not really feasible, right? But also like
yeah,
it's just way too much time, in my opinion. Like who does all this? Who makes all these 14 5-1 players play additional I don't know how many games just to eliminate one person and then they join the rest of 6-0s? Dude, you talk about how like it's a lot of games if you lose round one of a double elim for from the loser side, but how many extra games are you playing on Swiss? The whole point was so you don't everyone plays
yeah.
about the same amount, right? Like
I don't know. I feel like there's definitely a way, but I feel like with Swiss, you definitely have to do something like that, where you have to
But
split
they
it over
don't
two
though. They
days.
they don't do it for VGC or TCG
Yeah,
either,
yeah, yeah.
right? Like they
No,
don't
no,
have
but
to
they
do that.
do because
They don't.
no, because they do. In like in TCG and VGC, you have Swiss day one and then you have Swiss day two,
You have Swiss
and
day
then you have
one, day
top cut.
two. Who qualifies for day two is based off of Swiss tiebreakers.
Yeah, true,
It's the
true.
same thing. It's the same exact
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, they have another day of
Even
day two Swiss.
day one's
Even
based on Swiss tiebreakers,
yeah,
and
of
not
course
just
they're
for
all
record.
because they
Is it?
only have a certain amount of people in top cut, right? Like they're not going to have randomly one tournament we have 13 people in top cut, next one we have
No, 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 but
17,
like
right?
you can move like no, no. You know what? I have a feeling that
What's your
that's not the case.
feeling?
I'm just gonna quickly check something,
What's your
but I
feeling? Yeah.
feel like
No, it's the same.
because
Like some people, like there's certain people like in big VG or TG tournaments, like some like 7-3s or something make it to day two and some
yeah,
don't. And how they do it is not through any additional tiebreakers. They just use the Swiss tiebreakers. It's just the resistance. And depending on
okay,
how
wait,
your
let me
opponents
see.
did. And if any of them dropped out of the tournament early, then you're kind of screwed. But it is kind of how it works. And that's another issue that a lot of people with Swiss have is, oh, let's say you beat an opponent and they just dropped out of the tournament after they went 0-2 or 1-3 or something.
Yeah, that's
All
true.
your
Your
tiebreakers are screwed
resistance
up
becomes
now, right?
crap.
Because they
Yeah.
literally didn't stick around to play the rest of the events. They lose all the other runs, and your tiebreakers are completely screwed. So like, it's like there's so much out of your control. I know there's plenty of things out of your control in double elim as well, but I don't think it's as much out of your control, right?
Okay,
It's
I
just very
think I'm
straightforward. You lose two, you're out, right? If you play well, you don't lose two, you're in. It's as simple as that.
okay. Basically, what I was trying to check
Yeah, what are
is
you trying to check?
so I was trying to check Victory Road VGC, right? Because
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen posts of theirs where they're like, here's the 73 players that are going into day two, like some random number. Yeah. And the only
Yeah,
reason I
I
can
haven't
think
seen
for
that.
some random number is because, okay, look, look, look. Congratulations to the 69 best players at Bologna who
Okay.
will advance to day two. And if I look at this, if I look at the standings, all down to 69 went 7-2-0, and 70 went 6-3-0. So they do that where they take a cut off and they're like, everyone who makes this record
What?
will go into day two.
I would need clarification on this stuff. Wait, can you send it to me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know what you're looking at. So Victory Road, are they posting like official
That's
tournament
the official
results
standings. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the
for
official
BG
tournament
for this
results.
past weekend?
Yeah.
I don't
So
understand. So who? Someone's getting
69
a buy? Like I don't. What is this?
so 69 players go to day two of Swiss rounds, yeah, and they do a second day of Swiss of those 69 players, with
How do you
which they then
Swiss?
get a top eight, and then the top eight becomes single elimination. So here I'll show you the top eight
Well, they have a 70th
standings.
player. So the 70th player, Ivan Vespa, is just not playing on day two.
No, no, the 70th player didn't qualify because look at their record. Their name isn't in bold, and their record is 6-3-0.
I I'm gonna need some. If anyone familiar with VG can clarify that for me, because that just makes no sense to me. Like what? So
Yeah,
I
look.
know, but so day two on Swiss, they have an odd number, so just a buy every single round for no reason.
Uh,
Like it makes no
I
sense.
guess so. Yeah,
Why would they purposely set themselves up for a buy every single round?
I don't know, but that's what they do. The thing is, I think there was way more complaints about the fact that people would be like, "Well, I also went 7-2, and I didn't make it to day two because of opponent's resistance, right?" Whereas in this situation, it's like, well, at least I had the opportunity in the second day to actually, sort this out and and like earn my place.
How do they do
And I
their
feel like
brackets?
this
Is it
system is
on like
good.
Arcanine or like is it?
Yeah, RK9, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Obviously, I you make a good point about that, like single buy. I have no idea how that works, but
yeah,
I
like they
do
literally
think,
have a buy every single
yeah, I don't really know how that works, but I
time,
do
right?
think this system is good in terms of like, uh, it feels it
How the
feels
heck
like
do you
a
see
good
this
form of
bracket?
Swiss.
Is there just no way to see the bracket? I don't understand.
I imagine maybe it's only if you're on. Have you clicked on RK9 and then VGC?
Yeah, I would tell me to look at tournament pairings. I think that might make more sense.
Maybe, yeah, yeah,
So if I go to tournament pairings for this, uh, All right,
It's
so
possible maybe you only see it if you're a player, but I don't
no,
know.
you can see it. So you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
round one, and
Okay, so
there's
go to round uh
oh yeah, because it'll be round 10,
10.
right?
Yeah, round 10, yeah.
Uh, okay, yeah. So someone legit just has a buy, and then round 11, someone has a buy as well. What? This guy just a no show? There's
Oh, who gets the buy? Is it like the player who comes first? I mean, I'm assuming so,
I don't even know.
in Swiss.
No, I think it's no, whoever has the buy is at 8-2. I don't even know why. It's just completely
Huh.
random. 8-3. Okay, so one guy in the second round they were 8-3, so that person is probably just theoretically someone that's just out of it at that point. Wait, it's all the 7-3, 7-2s that made it or something?
7 and 2 and up. So there could also be, I mean, looking at the
No,
front
so then
page,
it's
someone went 9 and 0.
well then it should
Two
start
people
at
went 9 and 0.
round. Oh no, it starts at round 9 then.
No,
Because round
round 10
9.
because Swiss day 1 finished at 9 and 0.
Oh no, they're showing the results of round 9, I see.
Oh, okay.
So then results of round 10. This person just got a free, yeah. So 7-2 got a buy, so like the lower seed,
Okay. That's
and
weird.
then they just kept going buys, I guess. That's so weird that someone. I guess like the person that's getting the buys not making it. It's really
Maybe,
weird in
but
my
then
opinion.
like how do you decide on round 1, I guess? Of like day 2, round 1 of day 2.
Yeah, I
Because
guess
all the
the
consecutive rounds.
Milko person technically, if they win out the rest, they can make it because they already had 2 losses.
Hmm.
But like anyone else that has a buy after that is not making it.
That's fair enough, yeah. I
Like
feel
there's
like
no
it
way they
makes
make
sense
it.
to give the first seed of Swiss from day 1 the bye first, and then after that it goes
No,
to
because the buy
whoever's out
sucks
of it.
for resistance too.
Yeah,
You don't
true.
want the buy. If you're getting the buy, you're usually in a bad spot unless you just like win out
Is
everything
it?
afterward.
Let's see. Yeah.
That's
Um,
weird. Why would they just purposely? I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's VG, but like I get it, right? For like a top 16, like they're not going to do a top 17 bracket for PJCS when top 16 is a 1 day
yeah,
tournament. Top
yeah,
16.
yeah. I get
That's
you.
super
Yeah,
weird though. Why wouldn't they just throw
yeah.
in a 70th person? Like, who cares? It's just a 6-3 person with high
Because
resistance.
then that's the exact issue that they're trying to fix with this system, where they're like, well, why pick that single person who went six
That's
and
just that's just
three
how
and not
Swiss
all the other
goes,
people
though.
who went?
That's just how Swiss goes.
Yeah, but
I'd
then they
much
may as well
rather
just leave
have
it
the
as
6-3
goals.
person in there so we don't get a random buy every round for no
Yeah, I
reason.
mean the buy thing is a bit annoying in it, yeah. But I
Yeah, like
mean,
I get it if it's
again,
even,
yeah,
right? But it's not even
yeah, yeah,
even.
yeah. Yeah. To be honest, if honestly, if anyone's actually familiar with the changes that they did make, because I believe this was a this year change, where they made like day 2 of Swiss. Um, please let us know because I do think
No,
this
with
is
the
the
amount of players they
superior
have, I
form of
think day
Swiss.
two Swiss is usually what happens for
No,
VG.
but I feel like in VG it was only this year, and I feel like it was
Double
like
Elim before?
day
No, it
2 was
was.
only top cut or something like that.
Well, they no, it was
Whereas
a top cut, but the top cut was also Swiss. They do 2 days of
was it?
Swiss. Yeah,
But was that the case before this year?
yeah. The only thing they changed
Okay.
for them this year was a guaranteed invite for first place for
No,
VG
they
and
changed it.
TCG.
They changed it. Okay, maybe not this year, maybe last year, but they changed a few things where it was like, for example, instead of doing like something stupid like 11 rounds of Swiss on day 1. In fact, actually, I think they did change it because I recall that there was one tournament.
Oh,
It
they did
was,
change something, but I don't remember what it was.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was early on in the season, and players were playing until like some stupid time in the day because there was so many
yeah.
people that they had so many rounds of Swiss and they were trying to do it all in one day. And then so they eventually split it into 2 days.
Hmm.
Do you know what's funny is that actually as the light is going down outside, this look is looking horrific. It's, like
Well,
you don't want to
let
see
me.
me in your cupboard.
I don't want to see you in the broad daylight either. Like, I ain't about to hit up Coriander the Clown for my kid's birthday party.
Where? um, yeah, so I don't know. The thing is, so yeah, I don't know. I feel like if Swiss is going to happen, then I feel like that's the better version of Swiss, where you do that. You split into two. Again, I didn't think about the buy before, and I don't know if maybe the way that they decide who gets the buy is reasonable or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the best way. If we were to see buy in the championship series, sorry, buy. If we were to see Swiss in the championship series, I'd want to see it like that, where it's like day one
Hmm.
and then day two. I feel like day two you have less grounds to complain that you were at the same record as someone else and didn't get it, because I feel like at that point you've done enough games where it's like, do you know what? There's most likely, and you can make the resistance the last tiebreaker
Yeah.
outside of like head-to-head matches and or like matches and one or games one, sorry, and head-to-head matches. But I feel like at that point it's a bit more acceptable where you're like, okay, you know what? It's going to happen at some point, and it's unfortunate. But to have it happen at day one, I think is a bit like ruthless. But you know what? Maybe you're
Mm.
also right that we just need more players to start playing before we actually move on to something like that as well.
Yeah, I don't think double elim is sustainable by any means if we increase our player size significantly,
Right.
right? Like I think if we're at like what 500 plus players regularly,
Yeah.
yeah, we have to do Swiss. But I think in this current format, it's double elim
Yeah.
seed is fine.
I
Like
honestly, I don't hate that one, Elim. I think it's calm.
I think double
One
elim is one
advantage
from a
I'd say,
production
yeah,
standpoint, it's way easier to follow too. From a viewer standpoint, I should
yeah,
say.
it's true, yeah,
But like what's
because you
going
can
on,
actually have a bracket,
you can actually
which
have a
makes
bracket and
sense.
see what's
Yeah,
going on, right? I'd be like, if
yeah,
you're looking at a Swiss bracket, you'd be like, wow, like it's kind
yeah,
of hard to follow, especially if you don't know Swiss, right? If you know Swiss, obviously from like the Sylph days, it's easier. But for a lot of people, don't even understand how Swiss works. Right? I was confused with how Swiss worked too when I first started playing
yeah.
Sylph.
To be honest, like
It's not that
all
hard to
the
understand, but
tournaments that we've had Swiss this season, I've never even bothered sharing the bracket on Dracoviz because I'm like, you're not going to get anything from this,
yeah, you're
Like
not
I
even,
don't even
yeah,
get anything from this
yeah,
until they get to top cut. So
exactly,
the only advantage I would say potentially is I think maybe Swiss works nicely for championship points, where it's like, well, even if you lose, if even if you go like, let's say the cutoff is X2 and you go X3, right? There's still potentially reason for you to carry on playing because maybe if you get a high X3, then you're in championship point range or something like that. You
probably
know,
not though,
you don't think so?
unless there's a lot more players. It's like how it is right
Yeah,
now, right? Like, yeah, if
true.
you have to
Yeah.
go X3 and you can still get points,
Yeah.
then in double elim you'd have like way more players in general, right? Like it's
But I
just
would
like
say that like let's say okay, let's say for example how it is now, yeah. Let's assume that tournament has 128 players.
yeah,
Um
you go
and that
X2,
means
you're out.
7 rounds, right?
Yeah,
So what would you put the cutoff at? And how many players
for
would
championship
realistically
points.
no, so like let's say top cut, yeah.
Hmm.
Let's say top cut, if you said X2, how
Yeah,
many people would realistically be on X2 with 7 rounds of Swiss?
uh,
Like roughly.
I
Would it
don't
be
know.
too many or would it be like around
Well, it would
about a
be a
top
top. It
cut
would be a
amount?
top 16 because
Roughly
128
about
would
top
be
16
no
kind of people.
128 is top 16 though. You
Yeah.
need 128 or more for a top 16 for like double elim for like a
No, as
real
in like
for a
no,
true
I'm
top
talking about
cut.
Swiss. I'm talking about Swiss.
I
Yeah.
know, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
what I'm
But as in
saying as
like
an analogy is that like
yeah.
it would be top. It would go all the way up to top 16 for the Swiss as well
No,
for
but as in
top day
like
two.
how many? I mean like how many?
So that would be the cutoff, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. But as in like what kind of record would be the rough amount
There wouldn't
of
be.
a top
I
16?
think it'd be unlikely that if someone is 4-3 and makes top cut, they have to be at least.
No, no, they wouldn't make top cut, but would they get into championship point range? Do you
It's
know what I
just like
mean?
it's like the way like it's an. I think people getting confused with the numbers, right? Like theoretically, okay, if it's 7 rounds, then I potentially could still get championship points if I go 4-3, as opposed to in the double elim right now. Like I don't
Yeah.
even get points if I go 4-2 or 4-2. Actually, you probably would get
Because
points,
it
right?
depends on
You would get
like
like
at the
3-2, right?
moment it depends on when you lose, whereas in Swiss it depends on how much you lose.
No, not necessarily too, because Swiss also has the tiebreakers. So it wouldn't be like just because you got a 4-3, you get points. It would be like
Yeah.
you have to score in like the top 64th place or something, right?
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
if you like, it's similar in the sense that like it still matters when you lose in Swiss as well, because if you lose too early, if you go like 0-2 right off the start,
Mm.
even if you win the rest of your games or you lose one more later on, your tiebreaker points are going to be way lower because the people you lost to were so early. So every opponent you played later were on the loser side coming in as well, or like they were also 0-1 or 0-2 as well.
Right. Yeah.
So like, what I'm saying is like I don't think it necessarily exactly evens out, but I think it roughly is the same in that regard. The biggest
Right.
downside
Yeah.
for double elim over Swiss is if you lose round one. It is like in double elim. You play a lot
Yeah.
more opponents, right? To need to get to actually day two as well as like win the whole thing, you have to play a lot more opponents. That is definitely for sure the biggest downside of double elim versus Swiss. And especially for double elim, if you're winning the whole time, you're playing. Oh my gosh, you look creepy AF. Oh my gosh. When you started smiling at that, I was like, wow, end this
That's why I
podcast.
did it.
Yeah, that was so
I
weird.
saw it was changing. I was
That
like,
was
yo.
so weird. Hey man, you might be my neighbor in a few weeks, man. Hollywood can definitely use a few clowns. They haven't had a good clown movie in a while. Yeah,
Bruv,
they'll
I'm
be like,
feeling like it right
soon the
now.
theaters near you. Coriander.
Oh shit. Where'd it go?
Coriander the Clown. That was
Oh
so.
my days.
You need to timestamp this if you're on the audio version. Listen to YouTube version and see what it looked like. It's so weird. You're still gonna do
Oh
2 more weeks of
man.
this, but yeah.
I'm not even gonna turn the light on. I think this
So,
is
anyway, I don't even know what I'll say at this point. I would just say I think our current format's fine. I'm not saying it's fine for all of future's sake, and obviously this is my opinion, so take it as you will. But
Yeah.
I don't
I do
think
think that PJCS
Swiss
can do with some changes just in general, innit?
maybe,
Whether
yeah.
that be like uh doing all the rounds of Swiss or something like that, I don't know, innit? I'd at the very least like to see them do open team sheets. Um
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? And I feel like
Weird,
PJCS
because I
does
thought
really something.
they have open team sheets for the other APAC
Yeah,
qualifiers, but
but
they
they're
just
just
don't have it for
organized
I know
quite differently.
Japan's done very differently,
Yeah,
right, in general,
yeah,
with,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
just their qualification and then having PJCS,
yeah,
but,
yeah. I do feel like PJCS has a lot more
yeah.
improvements that they can make.
How was the
Um,
gameplay on day 2 out of curiosity? Was it like, because I didn't really or not day 2, like Top Cut, I wasn't really up for most of them,
yeah, it was what you'd expected. What you'd expect, to be
like,
honest.
high level.
Like really good gameplay,
Okay.
very high level.
I'm still looking forward
Yeah,
to
good
like, it's
matches.
very unfortunate that some of these players that, like, we've grown to know over the past year or 2 didn't make it
Yeah,
to Worlds,
yeah,
but,
yeah,
it's also cool to see some new names in
yeah.
the field
I
as
mean,
well.
honestly, like that said, if anything's going to change, I think the first thing needs to be more qualifications because
Or more
overall,
qualification
again,
chances too. This is just like a one
more
and
qualify.
done,
You know
that's
what? I
it.
think that's actually
That's the
more.
hardest thing with APAC
Yeah, I think
regions.
that's more important, more qualification chances, because that's like the biggest thing I feel like that separates the Asian tournaments and everywhere else in the world is that, you know what, if you do bad one day, yeah, there's another opportunity. Yeah, it might cost you some money, but at least it exists, you know.
I think the limited
Whereas,
spots too, right? Because like, let's say if there's multiple chances. Let's say Malaysia gets 2 spots, right?
yeah,
Let's say for Malaysia, instead of one tournament where the top 2 qualify for Worlds, they host 2 tournaments and the winner of each goes. That's still
I
not
think that
great.
would be better. No, no,
You
but
think
I
it'd be
think it'd be
better?
better than the thing
If
is,
I
it's
don't
still not
qualify,
great.
no,
Yeah,
because I think winning a tournament is arguably harder than getting second place at a tournament.
yeah, but I mean, the thing is, it's not great, yeah, but I think it's a step up from just having one tournament anyway. Yeah, I'd still want to see more qualification
I
spots.
don't know. If it's the
Yeah, but I
qualification
think it's
spots
a
the
step up.
same, it's still kind of rough, I feel like.
No, no, but it
Okay,
gives like
let's say you play the best of your ability and you get
yeah,
second place at the first Malaysia tournament. You don't qualify based on this standard, right? You have to show
yeah,
up next week and win it all, right? Like it's not.
yeah. But I mean, that's and I mean,
I don't know
ideally
if
it
it
would be
makes it
something like
easier, is
earlier
what
on
I'm
in the
saying. I'm not
season.
saying it's necessarily harder,
No,
but it's
no,
not
but
easier
I think
either.
I know,
And
but
I
I
know I'm not
think
saying that from a second place bias, right? I'm just saying in general, it's very hard to win a tournament, right?
yeah,
I know, right? Tomahawk knows. But I think it's also very hard to get second place in one. So I don't think like a
yeah.
one time potentially the top 2 go versus 2 times where
No,
only
but
the winner goes. It's like
it still feels bad to just have one. You know what I mean? Innit? Whereas if
it
there's two,
does.
there's at least an opportunity. You
I
know?
think it would have to be 2 and you also double it.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd like to see more qualifications, regardless. Innit?
Or you just do
But
championship points
yeah,
for
I
APAC too. I
think
don't know, but it's just
yeah, I don't
it's
know.
just
I think
the tough part right now is the qualification requirements for different regions is really
yeah. Do you know
really
what the
all over
thing
the
is though?
place.
And like maybe this gives a bit of hope, but I don't know. But they don't really have as much of this problem in, let's say, VGC, for example. Because in VGC, they actually have, like, let's say, for example, the Thailand qualifier. I
Mhm.
think something like 20 people qualify, you
What?
know, and their
Yeah, but
tournament
it's just
isn't
they have
even that much bigger. It's like maybe
oh,
80
really?
people or something like that. Yeah. So it's
Oh,
not even,
that's quite a
it's,
bit.
but they give more qualifications to Asia in VGC than they do in,
Well, you should fact
uh,
check that first before you keep talking about it, just in case that's not fully accurate.
okay, wait, let me quickly check.
Yeah.
Um, Thailand. Okay, so the Thailand National Championships this year,
Mhm.
um,
For VGC.
64 qualified players. Oh wait, no, 64 players qualified for the nationals.
Yeah.
Um, and and that was the top 64 from the global challenge. Okay.
Okay.
And they got four invites.
4 out
Um,
of 64, but that's 64 qualified though, right? Like how many total players do they
yeah.
have? Because right now, like if
No,
we
so
host a
what
tournament
they
for Go
did,
for Thailand, it's just everyone in
yeah.
the bracket is everyone that wants to try to go, right?
What they did is they took the top 64 players
Uh-huh.
from the global online tournament.
For
The
Thailand.
top 64 Thai players from the global online tournament.
Okay.
And that was who. So okay, so there's four qualifications for Thailand.
Yeah.
Let's see Taiwan.
But that doesn't tell me anything because they have 64 that qualified. How many Thai players actually try to qualify, right?
Oh, we don't know because it's
Well,
the
I know, so that's what I'm
the
saying. So like
online. Okay.
the number they have is not really like it doesn't tell us anything, right?
Oh,
Like
actually, do you know
it's
what?
4 players not out of 64. It's 4 players out of maybe a lot more than 64. It's just 64 had a chance to go further.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like saying like, "Oh, Japan like
Oh
gets
no, no. Do you know what? My bad. It wasn't even four. It was
what?"
eight. They had
But it
eight
doesn't matter
invites.
what the numbers because we just don't know what the total population they're drawing from is, right?
Oh, okay. I
Like
see.
we know the total population from like maybe Thai players for Go because they all signed up for that tournament, especially for the first Swiss round before they went to the top cut round. So we already know exactly how many are interested. We don't know how many interested players there are from
That's
Thailand, right,
true.
for
Okay, let me
VGC
see if Korea, because Korea is usually a bit different.
because they have like the open
They
thing.
have
That's
the Trainers Cup.
hmm
Let me see how many people usually enter this. Because okay, with Korea, we roughly know how many people were interested on the Go side, which was about like not an amazing amount. I think it was like 150.
actually spots
Um,
150 is still not a lot. Yeah.
no, they had four. We had four.
Oh, we have 4. Okay, that's pretty
Yeah,
good
yeah,
then. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. They actually got way more than maybe
Yeah.
thingy.
I know
Um,
Yetziruna didn't make it, but did her brother make it or no?
yeah, he
Her
did.
brother did? Okay. But she didn't. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, she yeah, lost him in the first round, which is unfortunate.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't know, but I'll find out by next week. I'll have some good numbers on
I
that.
mean, yeah, VGC, I
Um,
expect more participation in general in most
yeah,
regions
but
than
the
Go, so
it's more. Yeah, I mean,
I get why they have more invites. We just
yeah,
need
but
to
it's a
grow the
lot
game
more
more,
invites. Yeah,
honestly.
maybe that's true. Yeah, because I don't even know what they base the invites on, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
how they decide. So true.
Anyway,
True, true.
that's our thoughts on Swiss versus Double Elam. We got some events coming up though, so let's cover these real quick while we're at it.
Eventos.
We have Slumbering Sands. It starts this upcoming Friday, actually, during NAIC. Friday through Wednesday, June the 12th. And it's a bunch of Slack called costume stuff. They go out slacking wearing some visor. 2 times XP for catching Pokemon. You get surprise encounters as well. A bunch of things in the wild. Out of these, the most interesting one, I mean, with the Slack called visor is fine because Vigoroth is
Yeah.
relevant. Sandy Gas, though, could be interesting in some
Yeah,
limited metas. And you do need
yeah, yeah,
XLs for the Ultra League variant. Oranguru, same thing. You need XLs for Ultra League variant. Also not that meta in open metas, but could be good in limited. And
yeah.
then we have the release of Shiny Kamala,
Come on, yeah.
and that
It's
is
pretty
pretty
rare.
rare
Pretty rare.
spawn, but it is what it is. Yeah. Outside of
Um,
that, nothing else too much. There's probably some like
yeah.
Pokemon Go Plus sleep stuff, time research. I don't know, but I'm not very good about using my Go Plus Plus for the sleep stuff, I guess. But
Same, yeah.
um, and that's
I
that
think
one.
the
And
only other two things it's like minor, but like Slowpoke and Mareep. I know they've been out like loads in it, but it's like a good opportunity to get resources for megas, you know.
yeah,
So
you need that.
but
But out of that, there's some other events going on this weekend as well. We actually
hmm.
have Goodra Community Day, so
Aha.
it's gonna
I hear
be a
you're now
Goomy
a
Community
Goodra
Day.
believer.
Nah, not really. When did I
No,
say I was a Goodra believer?
I don't know. I just saw you made a video on it.
Well, I
I
just
just
said
assumed that
Goodra.
was
I've always
good.
said that Goodra is pretty bad in Show 6, but it could be good in GBL. And I used it in GBL. It was pretty solid. But in Show 6, a lot harder to use, in my opinion.
I
However,
mean,
Thunder
we saw
Punch
another
does
Goodra
help it.
top in Japan, you know?
Yeah, but like it's just like there's randoms. We had a freaking Buzzle that topped in Bologna, right? Like it does just because you top with it doesn't mean it's good, right? You barely see any top with it. Once in a while in a blue moon it tops. I will give it to Butters that this thing is better than Ampharos was, right? And ever will be. But Goodra getting Thunder Punch could be interesting as well because one of its main counters is going to be that Skarmory, and having a something to throw out the Skarmory is nice. Thunder
Yeah,
Punch are also going to be fantastic still for Azumarill. You're just a little bit worse than the Mud Boys because I assume you give up Power Whip for the Aqua Tail. If you
yeah,
have
yeah.
Thunder Punch Power
But you
Whip,
play
you
neutral against them still.
yeah, but dude, I mean, you can't really counter swap a freaking Whiscash. The two Mud Bombs just take you out from the Shadow Whiscash. Like it's so awkward. Um,
Mm.
but even then, if they have shields up, it's hard to even land the Power Whip if they want to try to win alignment with
Yeah,
the Whiscash. But but you can't really drop the Aqua Tail because in a Gligar meta, you're just asking to get punished for that. Like Thunder Punch Power Whip is just like a terrible move set in a Gligar meta.
yeah,
And you probably just lose that matchup now. You typically win it with Aqua Tail. But yeah, 3 times starters for catching Pokemon as well. Ooh, nice.
mud.
Double candy as well. And then, chance to all the standard other stuff. But this will be happening on the Sunday, on Championship Sunday of NAIC. It'll be after NAIC's over for us at least. For you all, it might be during it, right?
Uh,
2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess so. Well, yeah, yeah, probably.
Because
Yeah, yeah.
NAIC
Like probably at the
starts,
beginning. But then again, it's on Sunday as well, so it'll just be. Oh, it'll be during the finals, I guess.
yeah, because there's top three,
Yeah,
I
probably during the
assume.
finals, I'd say.
But that's fine.
New Orleans time. Let's assume that it starts at 10 a.m. Um,
Yeah.
Currently it's like 3:15, so that's 5 hours ago.
Okay.
Do you know what? It should end roughly around the time that the finals start. So that's at least for London, and then for Europe,
Yeah.
it's actually a bit better as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
not too bad.
But anyway, maybe we'll see some at Worlds. I think with the Thunder
I think
Punch, it
so.
definitely becomes more viable, but it just loses a lot of the
Yeah,
head to head to opposing dragons, right? Like Guzzle
yeah,
just
but
like
you know what?
chews through it,
I
but it has a
think
lot more
again, it's a bit
flexibility.
like I think it's like it's merits aren't necessarily going head to head with things, as opposed to being something that maybe puts on a bit of pressure, can like maybe take a shield here and there, or just like soak up some damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like set up something else. I feel like that's really where it shines. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't play it.
yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes, but I think it is definitely a solid addition. We have Cyndaquil Community Classic coming up as well. This will
Mod.
be a little bit later this upcoming month on June 22nd. What do you mean? You said why?
No, no, I said mod.
Oh, mad, yeah.
Mad. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is actually kind of interesting. 2 times XP for catching Pokemon and 2 times starters for catching Pokemon. So you at least get double starters, not triple, but I'll
Yeah.
take it, I guess. Yeah, and this thing, I think more people are excited to see it in potentially Rocket Stops more than anything else. But nothing crazy. Just
Yeah.
get
Do you
the
think
candy.
would you have rather? it had been for alligator. Is there
I'm
any
okay with either, but yeah,
possibility
for
for
alligator.
any more classic community days this season or no?
Wait, say it again.
I don't know how it works. Is there only one
Classic
community
is
day
usually every other day,
per
every
season?
other month, I think, typically.
So would there be a possibility for a community day classic before Worlds or no? That's outside of this one.
Uh, Potentially, yeah, if it's early August.
Okay.
Why do people need
So
for
maybe,
alligator? Just I guess you just for if you want to run
do you know what I mean?
non-shadow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a good
yeah.
point. Yeah, yeah,
I
potentially.
feel like that would probably be I don't know, maybe the preferred
Yeah, I see
option.
why people want it. Before I was like wondering like why people want this because it's just shadow, right? But yeah, it makes actually a lot of sense to
Yeah.
yeah for that. Um, but anyway, so it'll be interesting for sure. But I think Fragga has a lot more play than Typhlosion does in Show Six. But
Hmm.
you never know. But yeah,
For
and
now. Yeah, yeah.
we'll see how that goes. And then we have one last event that was like just dropped, I think, while we're about to record this. It's the Scorching Steps event. We went from Slumbering Sands, a lot of SS. No, Scorching Sands because of the move. But Scorching Steps event. This will start on June 21st to June 25th, Friday to Thursday to Tuesday. 2 times candy for hatching eggs, 1/2 hatch egg distance when placing incubators, and then something 1/4 for like
Hey,
the
Rise is
egg
gonna love
hatching
this event,
widget.
you know.
Yeah, true. You get the Sable XLs he needs for sure. I not be
You know
hatching
what
like
I'm
Rise to Occasion does.
saying?
Let's just see anything interesting. Larvesta's probably the most interesting from the 2 and 5K and 10K
Mm,
eggs. Terminators from 10K. Everything else is nothing too crazy,
yeah.
honestly.
I guess Charcadet is rare, but like not too relevant. I
Oh
think the
yeah,
Turtonator seems
Target.
big
Yeah,
though.
I actually don't even have one.
Yeah.
Terminator
Big
actually
one.
might be in. It's going to be in field research tasks too, so that would be pretty nice.
That's big. That's big.
Yeah, you did. I think it's a
Yeah.
15, 14, 14. It's the rank 1 for Ultra League actually with
Yeah.
full
I
XLs.
might just collect up a load of those to be honest.
Dude, I know Terminator has a special part in your heart because that was the meta that you hit Legend before me in. But
Yeah, I didn't even play with it, you know.
yeah, but look at
Yeah.
who's the clown now.
Yeah.
This lighting is nuts. If you haven't seen it,
I know.
but that's about it. Nothing else too crazy about
Uh,
that one.
ouch.
But I think that does
Alright.
it for our events. And yeah,
Yeah.
I think that pretty much wraps it up for us as well. Too. Any final thoughts before we go into NAIC?
Do you know what? I think one small thing is that we did obviously have the first of the Go Fests last weekend.
Yeah.
Um, and we saw a bit of Necrozma and Lunala.
Mm-hmm.
Some people playing them in the Master League as well. And
Were they allowed to use it? Were
yeah,
they allowed to
yeah, yeah,
use
yeah,
the fusion form?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
really?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
see the stats on that.
they're looking good, you know. They're
Yeah.
looking good, bro. The
The
the like
IVs are based
signature
on the
moves are really good.
Necrozma IVs too, which is kind of
Apparently, yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's really nice.
So, because I guess
But
you
you
can like
do get
raid it and
Cosmog
actually,
from some special research too, because I saw
yeah.
Zoe Tuda's post. Dude, she had the catch card Hundo Lunala.
Oh,
Crazy.
what with the little
Yeah. With the background
sick?
of was it Sendai?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
she has a
sick.
Sendai background on 100% Lunala.
Wait, how
She
did she
got
get that? So that means the one that
because
she caught in the research
has the
had
catch
the
card.
card, and it
Yeah,
always has the catch card.
I guess so.
Yeah,
Are
which
you
is
going to Madrid
yeah,
Go Fest?
nah,
Oh.
yeah,
Is it next weekend? Is it
don't
not
know,
this weekend, right? Next weekend, I think. You don't
maybe,
even know. You're not even gonna try.
nah,
What
nah.
about the Hundo? What about the Cosmog?
I'll just wait till global, innit?
I
Yeah,
guess
unfortunately, because obviously the background's cool, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie in it.
not
Yeah,
worth the
like
trip.
nah, that and also like I feel when it comes to like me and Master League resources, yeah, I need to not worry about a catch card and actually worry about getting them on. So
Well, yeah,
yeah,
but getting another chance at Cosmog's nice, right? No.
yeah, that's true, you know. But
Yo,
I imagine they'll give it to us at global. And also, I'm not gonna get like I'm trying to get it from other people, right? I'm not really trying to get
Well,
it
yeah,
myself.
but like, why would they trade you their catch card Madrid Cosmog for what? What you would give them, right?
Perhaps some people
That's a
don't even
hard
know that
sell.
catch cards exist in it, so
They're not
you
good.
know.
I don't think if they're going all the way to Madrid, I think they realize it by now. Maybe like when it first came out,
Uh,
maybe not. But like you,
you
you
never
gotta
know. You never
really
know.
swindle a fool to like get them to trade you a Cosmog catch card without
Yeah,
any.
bro.
Yeah, check this out though. I got this last night. It's it's the
Oh,
background
mate,
Dialga
that's sick.
15, 15,
That's
14
sick. Is it
functional
shiny as
hundo.
well?
No, it's not shiny. That'd be nice.
Nah.
It's lucky
Long.
though with the catch card.
Yeah,
It's good
that's
enough. It's a
sick.
functional hundo. It actually hits the same exact HP on level 50 and 51. So
Mad.
shout out to our loyal listener RC Cola for that trade. Actually, yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
What is your prediction for NAIC? You said one type. You said one or two Typhlosion in top cut, so top
Yeah,
32.
and I think we'll see some Typhlosion at least bubble before top cut.
I think top
You know,
32 is a
like the losers
possibility.
finals, like some stuff, that stuff.
I think impossible for top 8 and very unlikely for top 16. I think someone that gets in top 32 got lucky with a bunch of buy rounds. Is my guess.
Nah, I mean,
I
because we
think there's
shouldn't
going to
really
be a
have
lot
that
of
many
buys
buy
and no
rounds.
shows, though. I saw a lot of people
You
saying they're
think
actually
so?
not going to NIC. Yeah,
But as in, like they should hopefully sort out the bracket that they know who all those people are, right? Because
hopefully,
you have
unless
like a
you
little
redshirt
check-in you
teams and
have to
stuff.
do.
But
Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? In it, so like surely the data from who's actually registered and checked in, you'll be able to be like, okay, cool. All these people are like last priority on the bracket because they haven't checked in, sort of thing.
yeah,
So I
hopefully.
imagine they won't have that issue because they didn't have it at EUIC, and there was some people that
But
didn't.
you guys see most of the people I think showed up as well.
Yeah, but also the people who didn't show up, like they had it like filtered appropriately.
Oh,
So
they did.
I don't
Okay.
I don't think we'll see it like that.
Okay.
Obviously with Bologna it was a bit different because of the special event sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Typhlosion will do well.
Give me
I
your
think
top
meta
three
wise,
at NAIC. Oh yeah, give me the
sorry.
meta breakdown. What's the
Uh,
meta?
uh, okay, I think obviously a lot of like similar picks, but
You
I
think
think
everyone runs
potential
Lantern
standout
still?
picks. I think there'll be a shift away from Lantern to something like Charger Bug. However,
Okay.
funnily enough, I feel like that just makes Lantern more relevant because, like, if people start running things that are weak to Lantern, it just makes Lantern good again. Do you know what I mean? Isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
it's really dumb. I feel like of all things, yeah, to use a Sucker Punch clone, it's something with the charge moves and the bulk of Lantern and also the typing that honestly you could probably get away with using Spark and be pretty fine.
Would you run
You
Spark
know,
or would you run Water Gun?
I would consider running Spark. I'd run Water Gun, but I'd consider running Spark depending on what I feel like I'm going
Mm.
to see.
Okay.
I
A
wouldn't
lot
write
of
it off
Zoomer, I
basically.
think, on these teams.
Yeah,
Based on a lot
I
of
think I
Zoomer and
think
fires.
you can't write off Spark despite the nerf,
Yeah.
which is I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I feel like you can't write it off and just think straight away only Water Gun because I
Mm.
think Spark still has a lot of viability. Top three, I don't know who's coming in it, but like
Hard Jeff's going. You probably see it on Twitter.
yeah. Do you know what? I'll be very honest in it. Yeah, like I look when I
Rise,
when
dude.
I call who I think's going to do well in previous things in it. Yeah, like although it seems like bias for me, it's just vibes. Yeah, I
Okay,
go off
who you vibing
vibes.
with? Who
Yeah,
you vibing with?
I actually don't think that there'll be a non-American slash Canadian in top four. I
Really?
don't think
In
so.
top
Yeah, I
four?
don't think so. I don't know why, but this is just the vibe I'm getting. I don't think that
Oh.
any non-American Canadian will
Yeah.
make it top four.
Y'all heard
I
it,
think in
right?
terms of the top
Coriander
32, huh?
recognized the strength of NA these days.
No, I'm just like I don't know. I'm just getting a vibe in it.
Yeah. You
In
went from
terms of top
clown to
32,
shaman right now. He predicting the future.
kind of looking like it as well.
Dude,
Look at
yeah,
this
you
golden
really look
hair.
like a shaman because the nose is just pretty much blend into your face.
In
Don't cast
terms
no
of
spell on me, man.
I think what we'll do the same as EUIC, where it's like how many non-NA players will make top cut, yeah, and I think we'll have like two Europeans. I think there's not as many Europeans going, and I think four, maybe four or five players from Latam. I think
Hmm.
that's my prediction. I think two Europeans, four or five players from Latam, and the rest NA.
For top what?
for top 32.
How many EU players are even going?
I don't think too many. I think maybe like 10.
That's like near 100% of EU players. Then
Yeah, I think they'll make top cut. I think
okay.
I think two of them will.
I
Yeah,
mean, something I noticed is that the seeding for some of these LATAM and EU players might actually be higher than NA players because they've had more tournaments. Like they've had ICs already on their ends.
that's true. That's true. Yeah,
So it would be
unless they like
interesting.
discount the IC from seeding,
No, I don't think they will.
but
I
I
mean,
don't
like
know.
Harjeff and Steiner are going to be pretty high up there, right? And I know
That's
they're
true.
both
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think Zardy might be pretty high up too. I actually don't remember
yeah. Yeah.
Zardy's points off the top of my head, but
I think he would be because he reached the final and he's like third or fourth on the leaderboard. So
yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
What
we'll
do you
see.
reckon?
Who I think is top three?
So like
Uh,
top three, and then also how many
well,
non
you
NA
name some
players in
names
top
for
cut?
me. If you're going
Okay.
off of vibes, what are the NA players that make the top? Just say top three. You don't go
Okay.
for fourth place.
Junebug.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's an easy one to put in there. Um, I wanna say Dialab. Yeah. No, do you know what? I don't think. I think Dialab will top cut. I don't think he'll make top three. I just
He just
want him
needs
to
a
be
top 8 finish for
there.
Worlds.
Yeah. Possibly Elite, to be honest.
Okay.
Um,
I don't think
right. These
Shady's
are all
going.
basic choices. I just
Yeah.
don't even know who's going, so I can't really pick a spicy one.
Well, name a spicy one if you want. I'll let you know. I might know if they're going or not.
Uh, I feel like possibly. Do you know what? I feel like Elam maybe. He's not a spicy one, but I feel like he.
Mm,
I don't even know if he's going, but I feel like he might make top four.
no, I think he's
If
going.
if SJ is playing,
He's not playing. He's not
he's not
going.
playing. Okay.
Yeah, to my
Maybe
knowledge.
maybe someone from Elite TMs, but like one of the better players from Elite TMs. I feel like they might get a
Who's a
top
better
four.
player from Elite TM then?
The ones that have not retired, I don't know. Again, I don't even know who's going in it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's my best
Yeah. I don't really know either. I think
question of a
Doombug is
prediction.
obviously an easy bet, but with the amount of
Yeah,
talent and players going, like it's very possible that he could like also get knocked out a little bit earlier than he
yeah,
wants to. I actually think Harjeff makes top three.
yeah. Fair
I
enough.
think so. Steiner's kind of scary too,
Yeah,
based on how he's been playing. He's been kind of on a hot streak too. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if Steiner has a better chance of making top three than Hardjeff. I think Hardjeff will just like Hardjeff. I feel like he's one of the best players in neutral matchups, which is why that
yeah.
September to December meta was really good. This meta is not really like his play style as much because it's a little bit more alignment heavy, which gives you a little bit less room for error. I think. Well, not even room for error. It's just like it's a lot more about predicting. I think than anything
Right.
else and like
As
building
opposed to
wise.
like playing your way out.
Yeah, but I've scrimmed with him before and it's still not fun. So like for me, so I think I can't even think of a third. I think if I were to pick, I would put Dune and Harjeff in that top two
Mm,
spot or two out of the three spots.
mm.
But we'll see. Anyway,
How
let's go. Into,
many non NA players in Top Cut?
uh,
So European and Latam.
well, Latam probably two between Harjeff, Zardy, and Steiner. Probably two of those.
Okay.
Actually, there's a decent amount of people from 7-Eleven going too. So
Yeah.
I would say three or four maybe. I'll give them
Okay.
that. And zero from EU. So rest all NA. Yeah, I think that's gonna be how it's gonna
Well, pagan.
go.
You're gonna
I'm
eat
just
those
kidding. I
words.
mean, I'd be shocked if there wasn't like I feel like there's more Latvian players going than EU. Just as a
Yeah,
starting
yeah. That's
point.
why I feel like I put more
Um,
weight on the Latam players as well because I
yeah.
think
So
more
if
of
I were
them
to
go.
guess, all right. So let's say top 32.
Yeah, top 32.
Top 32, I would be. I think three or four for Latam is very
Uh-huh.
doable. Could be even more depending on how they perform. Because there's a decent amount going, and I don't even know all of them off the top of my head. And then for EU, I think I'll go with two max. I think just because there's not even a lot of players going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
I still think
Feasibly,
it's
I
a
think
high
maybe
percentage.
three can possibly make it,
Right.
but out of the players I know that are going, but I think two is probably my call.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
wouldn't be surprised if it's one. If it's zero, then that's going to be not a good look
Big
for
risk.
you all before Worlds. I'm just saying. But there were, to be fair, a lot more NA players that went to UIC than EU's going to NAIC. So
Hmm.
Maybe next year. Maybe next year you could start travel. You could convince the homies to get on that flight tracker
Yeah.
app like we're
Yeah,
using
honestly,
and
bruv,
we're
I'm so
going.
gassed about it, because even like my flight to Bologna, honestly, if I'd have booked it at the time when I had my eyes on it, it was pretty much half the price,
Yeah,
and that wasn't even mad early. That was only a few weeks before. So
yeah,
like apparently prices are usually cheapest a few months before. And so I'm hoping this tracker thing really does a number.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks all for
Yeah.
tuning in. Best luck to everyone going at NAIC, and we'll catch you all next week to see how close we are on our predictions. Until then, this this creepy freaking clown. Oh my gosh, you don't even look like a clown. You just look like a freaking laughing shaman. I'm out of here. All right, peace out.